Destiny.
And all the YouTube audience, welcome to the stream, ladies and gentlemen. Valorant Challenger South Asia, driven by Hyundai. We've got Bad Love and Hika on the stage, and now we're gonna have the rest two pairs, Knight Rider and Blackhawk, to welcome these players. But Crips, as I was gonna continue my conversation that I was trying to have, the double duelist meta, I mean, it's been quite a long time, right, since we have seen double duelist in action. I don't even think so in Lock-in we saw a lot of double duelist compositions in general. So I want to see if that is the case, how is he going to come to play inside this one?
Exactly right. I mean, speaking of Lock-in, there's only a few teams who were able to actually make the double duelist composition work. Several South American teams had it going for them. So now that you have Venka and Paradox, I love their entry, by the way. I love what they did. Good banter. So with Venka and Paradox being the two people in focus, especially when it comes to the duelist role, it matters less about who's gonna get the more kills, and it matters more about who's gonna create more space. I mean, if you look at it in that perspective, then Venka is a really sharp player, but he's not the one who takes the initiative as often. I mean, I would even go ahead and say that if the other day Venka was set up as nicely as Disrupt was set up, then Venka would have been an absolute superstar. So that being said, Paradox is the kind of player who doesn't need as much setting up. He's the kind of man who can take things by himself and just go in YOLO. Of course, if he is set up, then he's an absolute unstoppable beast.
100%. I mean, I completely agree with whatever you just said. And again, the YouTube audience is just now joining us, so just to let you guys know, Godlike Esports isn't playing with their playing 5 usually. They've got 2 new stand-ins, which are going to be Paradox and Blackhawk. Unfortunately, the 2 previous players, which were the Filipino players, they were not really able to make it inside India because of some visa issues. So again, we don't exactly have to confirm info about that as well. But now Godlike Esports is going to be playing with 2 stand-ins. So that means one thing is for sure, there might be a little bit of communication issues, maybe a little bit of team synergy issues as well, but individually every single player is insanely skilled. And here we go inside the map veto. Godlike Esports is instantly gonna go for an icebox ban, and MLT, as always, last time as well they banned Lotus, and this time too they're gonna get rid of Lotus. So that means MLT, they really do not like that map, huh? But this time Godlike is gonna pick Ascent. Oh, I'm a little afraid for MLT.
Yeah, now I'm really afraid for MLT. Now, I agree that Militant Esports have a strong Ascent game, but you gotta consider that you can't really claim Ascent for yourself. And especially when your opponent team is lacking its original code and it's playing with a bunch of stand-ins, you should pick up a map which requires way too much coordination. So in aspects like that, something like Fracture or something like Pearl would have been perfect. But if you're picking up Ascent, you're basically giving Godlike Esports a chance to make their lineup work. Ascent is not the kind of map which requires way too many complicated strats, but as long as you're trading each other out nicely, it is fine. And I guess Godlike are capable of doing that. So you're basically giving Godlike a fair fighting chance if you pick up a map like Ascent.
And again, one more thing I really wanted to bring up here, right? So all the other teams that we've been casting so far, it seems like almost everyone has had a coach, but Godlike Esports is the only team without any sort of coach. So, I mean, you think, is it going to create a huge like performance problems, or do you think it's going to work in their favor?
I mean, it really depends on what kind of coaches are available for the other team as well, right? If you've got someone like Hacker who not only guides you outside the game but is more than capable of kicking ass inside, then sure, it's win-win. I mean, if you take a look at some of the other teams, not just in South Asia League, but in other challenger leagues, and hell, even in the international leagues, there are teams who have 3 coaches. Sometimes those coaches are divided between analysts and coaches, you know, different roles. And so it really doesn't matter how many coaches you have or who do you have. It really just matters about which coach you can use to the best of its abilities. Who can you really learn a lot from? That being said, we've learned a little something about Militant Esports now, haven't we? They've gone for a very similar lineup as the one that they picked the other day. Now, the last time they played along with this lineup against their opponents, True Rippers, they had a little bit of trouble, and that was that the KO was missing, and the Breach was the one who was using the util really well. So this time, Badman has picked up the KO instead of the Breach. Let's see if that brings in any changes.
And I mean, I personally think, look, there's really two ways about it, right? It really does come down to when you're going to be having Breach, of course, you're going to have the utility that'll support you a lot. On the other hand, though, KO is pseudo for those flashes. At the same time, you'll be able to gain those information and maybe nullify your opponents for a while. But I still personally feel like when you're going to be having those impactful rounds, it's really just comes down to your team's playstyle and which player or which agent's going to be supporting you in that certain amount of playstyle. Before now, we're going to be having a fiery start to this round. Already, we're seeing godlike players just going up forward. Caramel as well as on the B main side. Intention's clear. They want to make entry inside the site, and so far, it seems like he's just trying to take his time. He's not going to just straight up rush in. Paradox has finally found his footing inside the site, so that means he knows there's 2 players trapped in the back site. Are they going to be able to break free? That's my question. Rio's catching a bit of hurt, but eventually he gets taken out, and Knight Rider runs out of bullet. He runs out of juice in his gun.
Yeah, but the backup from Militant Esports has arrived. Badlove is on the scene. Gets detected, gets suppressed. It's a KO versus Omen battle. Badlove can technically teleport across the other side to its button, but Hicka, instead of going for the plant, is going for the fight. He's aware that Badlove is super low on HP, but Badlove, given the chance, will take his head off.
That's a nice little haircut. Good start for the side of Godlike Esports. Or not Godlike Esports, MLT. Unfortunately for Godlike, though, they weren't really able to get things in their favor. I mean, I'm going to say, yeah, that entry on the mid was perfect. The execution, the planning was really good, but unfortunately, in the end, those 2 players in the backside really did sort of throw him off.
Exactly,
2 players were trapped in there. Yeah,
the 2 defenders who were trapped in back of B got so much backup from Badlove. I mean, he placed that dark cover over there, which gave them so much room to play around, created the number of, increased the number of angles that Godlike need to check in order to clear it out. And yes, Godlike Esports crunched mid plus B really well. Militant Esports need to address the fact that their mid defense is not as strong. But for now, they can just enjoy the fact that they were able to get the pistol under the bag. They will have chances to fix their mid approach later on.
Again, I mean, I feel like they can try and keep doing the same thing over and over again, Godlike. They've got some sheriffs in play, of course. On an eco round, all your main goal is to just put a little dent on the opponent's economy. And as always, Paradox going to be the man to be the alpha. Just push on up, be really aggressive. On A short, it's got the entry, and what a quick shot! Badman's going to be seeing stars in his time now. So we've got Venka on the Guardian, standing a little bit in the back. An interesting choice of weapon, of course. And it's going to be quite good. It's going to be rewarding. All you need to do is just hit 2 shots and the opponents will be taken down.
Repositioning towards mid, the alarm bot does get triggered, so it's up to Knight Rider to defend this region. Spike spotted, and Badlove is able to get a kill towards A main as well. That leaves Paradox all by himself. Ooh. Nice shot, and there's nobody to guard B, so he can get an easy plant off of this.
The crosser placement this match showing is just absolutely incredible. Plant goes down too. This is huge. As an eco, you're also getting the plant down. You're also able to take off a couple of guns from your opponent's hands, and the band's still up and alive. He's still standing. And he's wrapping around all the way from mid. The Marshal's been marked by his teammates too. He knows every single player's presence towards mid, but unfortunately, Bad Love peeks out at the wrong timing, and the timing wasn't expected, and he gets rewarded with a kill. Paradox will be shut down and put to sleep. A good round from the side of Godlike, but not as good as we want it to be, especially on the eco, but it's completely fine.
Yeah, but you take a look at the mini-map and see where the players of Godlike have died. It really tells a drastically scary story. These players died at very different positions where they had basically no potential to trade each other out. Yes, the shots from Paradox were amazing, and the fact that he's able to get a plant down gives Godlike a bonus sum of money, with which they can afford weapons again. But there are certain issues that you need to deal with. I mean, as long as you're trading each other out, it should be fine, but Godlike Esports didn't seem to have a coherent plan at start. Their idea of going towards A short was quickly thwarted, so they tried to recuperate the losses by going mid to B. And you can't always be playing on the back foot like that. You can't always be looking to make amends. Sometimes you just gotta push through with your original plan, your plan number one.
MLT are being pushed in the back, that's for sure. All the time. As I said, Paradox has just been the alpha, taking charge in his hands, and he's able to find so much space for his team. And MLT are really over-respecting that. And they shouldn't be doing that. I feel like, personally, they should be trying to fight for the space. And look at this, the entire A side is just empty. They've only got Soa, which is Rio, which is way too close to that site, but no one else is going to be there. Paradox will make the entry. The entire A side controls not going away. And the problem is that MLT, they do not really have the guns advantage inside this round. Opponents has got the Vandals and Vandals on the play, on the deck. So that means it should be quite an easy round for the players of Godlike. This might just be a flawless one too. But still, one player's down on the both sides, so nothing can be said just now.
Oh, Paradox going for those plays. He can see Rio trying to go for the drone, and somebody else gets stacked up. This gives Paradox a chance to take aggressive angles, but they're being crushed right now, both from Heaven as well as Double Door. He gets pinged. Somehow it's up to Battle Up to make an entry over here, and he's doing a wonderful job of taking everybody's heads off. Hika, the odds are stacked against them. There's a smoke in the way, a million bullets being fired at him, and somehow he finds a gap, but it's not enough.
That's huge from MLT. That is huge from MLT.
He gets it!
Even if they did not win that, that's still huge. They pretty much just took down the entire economy of Godlike. So again, we might see a little broken bias coming out from the side of Godlike, that's for sure. They should have still a okayish amount of money to buy maybe some Spectres and some broken buys, as I said, but they are not going to have a money to buy fully all the utilities and all the guns. So again, still a little problematic stuff over here.
Credit where credit is due. That round was supposed to be stacked against Godlike. I mean, especially when Hika was left to his own devices. The fact that he clutched it out is amazing. Also, Caramel, such an annoying player to deal with. He basically kept Militant Esports grounded towards A short and mid for a very long time, which bought crucial seconds for Godlike. Now, both the teams just brawling each other out towards A main. Frags exchanged back and forth, and now that the presence is known, it's up to Caramel once again to make something happen towards A short. He crosses mid without being detected. Who's gonna mark him? There's only one player who can actually mark Caramel's position, and that's gonna be Venka. Oh, but Batman is doing a lovely job of it. A main being defended so well.
The overcommitment once again is gonna cost him his life. Rio is there all the way on Heaven. We'll be able to get a nice little tag in. Does have Odin in the hand too, so that means he's gonna go for some spam plays. Caramel wants to be a sneaky little man. He wants to sneak up all the way near Heaven, but Knight Rider's flank is not expected, and Caramel will be shut down. Hunter's Fury was out from God Rexy, but he will need to try and shut it down, at least for now. And that's when Rexy will not live to see another day. That's some good stuff from the side of MLT Esports. Those flanks, those aggression, finally we're able to see those in the post-plant scenarios.
Yeah, and this time the flank was wonderful. Last time, because Hika was left alive towards A main, he was able to clutch up the round, but this time, Godlike Esports are given no second chances. Militant Esports, they opted to go from elsewhere, and that really just put a spanner in the works. The moment Rexy's Hunter's Fury was committed, it gave Militant Esports a good idea that Godlike are not aware about the flank, and that's what prompted them to just crunch it up quickly.
Yep.
Get out
And I'm not gonna lie, MLT looks like a really well-oiled team, and I'm loving it with the way they're playing so far. The team play is definitely leveled up, and look at this. Venka pushes up with the help of his teammate. Instantly falls back too, but the mid control's given away, and look at Paradox! He's able to sneak in so deep! All the way towards Haven, but he will be shut down eventually. Venka finds him. He's not gonna be let go just like that. Venka knows the entire mid control's gone too. It's his time to take some duels and maybe take it back in his hands. But Rexy is a man who's a big hurdle in their way. And Venka, too cold, is looking out to hand out some haircuts, but he's whiffing quite a lot of shots. And that's where Rexy will not give him another lifeline.
Oh, good way to deal with Blackhawk. It's quite impressive how, despite lacking weaponry, Godlike were able to get so much map control without even having anything to show for it. The fact that they're able to get Paradox into such deep positions just lets them know what the setup of Militant Esports looked like. Now, all the information that Paradox gathered in this round and the way that Godlike were able to gather mid control, it gives them enough knowledge to adapt to Militant Esports setup. That is assuming Militant don't make adjustments of their own.
I mean, you can clearly see the team play is hurting them a little bit. Godlike isn't able to counter the team play that MLT has shown them so far.
Yeah.
And that's a huge problem. Yeah.
This time, once again, Godlike Esports trying to creep up towards A main and a shot as well. Shots being rattled towards mid, hoping to break any alarm bots in place, but Militants haven't placed any Killjoy Util in mid this time. Badman was trying to explore, but he gives up his life. At least Wenka avenges him. And now that Godlike are aware about where the Opper is, they try to go elsewhere. The A side has been a reliable place for Godlike to make their plays work, but Militant have a good read on this. Nice pop flash. This is going to let Paradox sneak inside, and he dashes right in, ignores the players on tree, and they crunch every defender towards A main. Easy control.
Pretty much trap him in their own side. They realized mid control is really easy to take, so they took the mid control and trapped the defenders in their own site.
Yep.
I like the thinking. Love it. Venka 2 Cold's got the operator in the hands, but I doubt if they do want to go for this retake. It's a 2-on-4 scenario. And if they do, they're pretty much going to be handing out the operator to the opponents too. So this is where they might just take a little back step and go for the save, and that's what they're exactly doing. But Hika is on a hunt. He's on the prowl. He wants to sniff out the defenders. But MLT, they've found a little shelter, at least for now, inside the B site, and they're going to be staying over here. Keep this thing in mind. They still have a decent amount of abilities available. Hunter's Fury is up for Rio, so that means upcoming round shouldn't be that tough for MLT to try and pull something off.
Unless Hika activates the null command and just lets have a rain loose. That being said, I love how Godlike adjusted in this round. You see, Militant Esports always knew what was going on. The fact that they placed a smoke towards tree, it tells you that Militant Esports are aware about Godlike's position. But what Godlike did over there was a little unexpected. They pop flashed through it. That's fine. But Paradox rushes straight in towards the side using the dash and the cloud burst, which crunches the defenders. They never intended to fight towards 3. They just ignored that region, and Godlike went straight for the site. And this was only possible because in the previous round, Paradox was able to get all the way from A shot to 3 down towards the bottom of heaven. And this tells you Militant Esports have no presence towards 3 at all.
I love this. This is huge. Look at the amount of information that's being gathered by MLT. They know there's no one present near tiles, and there's one all the way on the spawn. But it's still an easy stroll for the players of Godlike on the A side. They've got the A side control too. One player's all the way deep in, but the problem is now the Killjoy's stuck. She's all by herself. Nice shots from Caramel. Maybe he might just get the second one too, but Venka is not going to miss those shots. Shuts down the player instantly, but they're still on a little bit of HP deficit here. Godlike, they've got only 3 players up and alive, so that means man disadvantage is there.
Yeah, but Godlike, instead of playing from the side, they're opting to play towards tree. Look at the aggressive positioning from Paradox. This is not a place that most people would check. Oh, but they go for it regardless. And Paradox is mowing them down. This prompts Blackhawk also to take up an aggressive position. And Knight Rider gets shallowed out. It's down to Rio. Gives away the sound cue. Now Godlike know exactly where he is, but the time pressure is on him. He knows about the positioning of Blackhawk, but he doesn't know where Hika is. Now the flash will reveal it, but they're not giving him the fight. They don't give him any chance. And when they finally do, it's together.
The disciplined play coming in from Godlike. I just love it. Even Godlike now, as I said, it did seem like at the start they weren't really able to figure out the opponents, but now finally they're getting a nice little solidified look at what they can try and do over here inside of Sint. They're able to counter them pretty nicely. They're able to find those easy strolls on the site. As long as you get the site control, that's all that matters. And they are able to do so easily. Hiko was just able to make it casual run on the site, on the A site. But again, as we all know, Beast on the mid this time, the presence was shown quite an aggressive way and quite in a proactive way. So Godlike, they might just try to counter that if MLT will probably try to pull it off once again. And this timeout is really needed for MLT because every single strat now is being read.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Godlike have tried to figure out what the chink in the armor of Militant Esports look like. Regardless of whether they go towards mid or not, they always at least make noise in that region. They try to break any Killjoy or Lumbots that might be over there by spamming the ground, and even places smokes to make sure that no AWPers who are present on mid can snipe at the members of Godlike. But more than the mid control, what I appreciate is the way they are treating a shot. Of course, the fact that Paradox was once, like only one time he was able to get deep inside, that was I think in what, round 3 or 4. Based on the information he gathered in that particular round, Godlike were able to convert 2. Once in round number 7 when they ignored the tree region to go straight in towards the site, and this time as well when they played their post plans from tree rather than playing them from a main. Most defenders would expect their T's to take position in either A long or A main regions, and they would never expect someone to still continue being towards the tree region. And that expectation, which Godlike defy, is what throws Militant Esports off guard so often. Recon
Like this
abilities.
nice little Odin spam coming in. They found the entry on the B main, but still no opening. Keep this thing in mind. MLT Esports, they have a lockdown available in Null Command and also From the Shadows. And these 3 abilities can be quite deadly if used properly and correctly in the perfect time. But I personally think so. They should only use at least 1 for the retake here. They should not go and try and use all the 3 abilities inside one single round. Nice little dinks coming in. Nice little HP touch. Just trying to soften him up. And Venka finds one! But the over-aggression this time was just almost being stopped. But Bad Love is now just trapped inside the site. And as always, they get the site control. A site control is just so easily taken. Knight Rider with the operator. I'm not sure how good of a decision this is because it's a one-on-one situation. It's a one-on-2 situation. So he should definitely try and switch it over to a Vandal or a Phantom.
Swamp grenade out.
Well, first they have to make sure that no spike can be recovered by Caramel, and Knight Rider's marking the angle. I mean, it might surprise you that a Killjoy is wielding an AWP, but I have to remind you, Knight Rider used to be one of the best AWPers in the country. At one point, he was a deadly chamber, so him picking up an AWP is not a surprise for me. That being said, I do feel a little bad for Hika. You know, he activated the null command, hoping that it would shut everybody down, but they were just out of the range of his what do you call that? Radianite particles or whatever, the thing that suppresses you. And because not everybody was suppressed, there was still Bladestorm available on Wenka. Even Badler was able to place a smoke towards a shot, which really slowed down Godlike.
Contact turret on the B main area. As soon as the turret takes the contact, the recon dart will be delivered and probably will go for some spams. But he's using the same recon dart over and over again, and that's why the recon dart isn't able to find any sort of value, but it's completely fine. You've got Knight Rider on the op. This man's just way too cold with it, and he will find another one too. Already the round started, and this man's on a 3K. Knight Rider really here to make a statement, really here to take the enemy down like it's nothing. With a little touch of aggression, this man's able to push or punish the entire team of Godlike.
And look at the positioning he's playing from. He's holding these really awkward off angles. Usually those kind of angles are held by a Jet, not by a Killjoy. You can't escape with a Killjoy by playing like that. Pop flash through the smoke, and Wenka tries to capitalize on the timing, but it's perfect. It was so telegraphed. Hika, the moment he threw that flash, it kind of tells Wenka that they're not going to be checking the smoke, and it sets him up for success.
One thing's for sure, we're seeing a huge improvement from MLT compared to last time what we saw. The team play is just way better. It's miles better.
Look at this angle from Knight Rider. He's so in the open. So exposed. And Venka also just really so intuitive, you know. The moment he figured out that they're not checking for him, they're going towards market by ignoring the smoke, it was his cue.
ASAP presence, every single player is just available there at Badman, unfortunately in quite an awkward spot, but he's still gonna fight for it! Venka, a quick shot! Shuts down Rexy. They've got no Sova available anymore, but at least they've got Hika. Keep this thing in mind. Godlike, they're being forced on an eco, so that means they're not going to have the gun's advantage. Clearly, the opponent should be able to have an easy round in their hands. Venka, nice little jump spot to bait some shots out, and also gets the confirmation that there is some sort of presence available. The over-aggression from Knight Rider this time doesn't really pay off, but it's fine. Venka is there. He's on a demon mode.
Godlike Esports, they're struggling to keep up with the changes that MLT are bringing to the table. Wenka's just making it look so easy. Man used his Blade Storm like 2 rounds ago and he's already farmed up most of the points required for it again. But that being said, you really have to credit Militant Esports for being so dynamic. They were having Knight Rider op first towards mid and B, but this time they put the op in the hands of Venka, and he is an absolute demon towards both a shot and a main. Not something that Godlike would have expected. Another thing that Militant Esports changed in this round is the Killjoy setup. Look at where the alarm bot and the turret is. These were not placed in these positions before. The alarm bot was basically placed towards a shot before. Now it's towards mid. Oh my god, Wenka, absolutely unrelenting. Yes, it's a little bit of a team flash, but at least he's cleared out a main. They should give MLT Esports all the info they need. And the smoke just tells you that they are completely aware about Godlike's positioning. They won't even let them push through the smoke like that. Pop flash avoided. It's so easy.
Signature Vandals and Phantoms on the play now. And Godl, as always, they're just going to try to make the entry from the tree side. How are they not able to find a cure to this? MLT, they're always falling prey to the same strat over and over again. Your tree needs to be sealed out, and the problem is, as soon as they get the entry from the tree side, they're getting the players of MLT in a huge deadlock, and they're not able to break free.
One enemy remaining.
Wow. Okay, then. Poor Knight Rider. Doesn't even get to see his enemy before he gets sprayed down. Hello. Yeah, this round, you know, somehow Godlike make it look so easy. And Godlike keep it simple, nice and simple, right? No mid control involved, no faking towards B. You fight towards A main first, wait a few seconds, and then hit both the sides towards both a shot as well as A main. And then you don't stop there. You send your entire team towards heaven, just making sure that Militant don't have a place to set up their retake. I mean, I know it sounds easy when I say it like this, but it's much more nuanced than that.
And again, guys, people who are thinking that Godlike isn't able to perform, just give them a bit of more time, okay? These are stand-in players, so it's understandable. We even predicted this in the pre-game segment. We said that there's going to be a little bit of communication issues, a little bit of teamwork issues, but it's completely fine. And maybe that might just last for the first game. Before now, trades are just happening back and forth, but in the favor of Godlike, and once again, they just replicate the same strategy. They get him in the deadlock and they execute him.
Yeah, they do the exact same thing, except this time they're awarded 2 free kills by spamming through the smoke. This Hunter's Fury should be enough to break the lockdown, but the lockdown that Godlike is placed cannot be dealt with. Militant have to respect this.
Oh no.
Knight Rider might even get detained.
No, he's gonna be safe. Safe for now. Recon darts available in hands of Rio, but I highly doubt he's going to be utilizing that right here because he's in quite a crunch situation. It's tough to deal with these type of scenarios. He's also got a lot of utilities just coming on his way, and Knight Rider will be cleaned up too. A nice little round from the side of Godlike, definitely something that's going to help them quite a lot in the upcoming phases too. But Crips, that was the first half, and it's a 7-5 half too. A decent half from both the sides.
Yeah, quite a decent half. I loved how Militant Esports were trying to stay ahead, but Godlike figured out one crucial flaw, and that's towards the A site. They just went for the simple A main executes, you know, nothing so complicated. You've got Paradox dashing into its generator, the 0 point, making sure that there's nobody playing under heaven or towards the back of site. Those kind of things just really keep Godlike Esports in the same page, and it's surprising that Godlike were able to get 2 more kills just spamming through the smoke. That shouldn't have happened, and that really weakens Militant Esports.
Again, I mean, common spots will be spammed, right? And
Yeah.
that's what exactly happened. They got those kills. They got rewarded with that spam too. But ladies and gentlemen, that was the first half. We'll be back with the second half right after this short break.
Hit for my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Hit more for wins, I get it in.
The all-new i20, born magnetic.
Hit for my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Hit more for wins, I get it in.
Welcome back into the second half. And as always, we're going to be kicking things off on the pistol round. Of course, the pace setter. MLT on the attack this time and Godlike on the defense. Really, their armor is going to be tested now. But a nice little crossfire. The bait was perfect from Paradox. It led them inside the site. Hiko was there to pick him off. And the trades did happen. But now we're down to a 3-on-3.
Caramel's on the flank. He's the only one who can save them. But he needs to hurry. Spike's been planted. And until Caramel makes the move, Blackhawk and Rexy can't really do much. Rio at least is aware about the possibility of him coming there, but the timing is so unfortunate. Caramel gets a free shot onto Rio, and now everybody else can be crunched. The two remaining attackers trapped under heaven, just using the smoke as cover. But hold on, they're using the curvature to actually sneak in and get angles. That's amazing. He almost isolated the fight against Caramel, but now Badman's left to his own devices, and Rexy checks every single corner meticulously.
Frenzies are just too good in the pistol round. It's really tough to avoid them in those close range scenarios, and always a Frenzy. I mean, the chance of Frenzy coming out on top are quite huge. So yeah, in those close range scenarios, if you've got a Frenzy, it's going to be a plus 100%. But I just love this, how Paradox took an aggressive peek, led them in the side, made them follow them in the side, and then Hiko was there to greet him. He got the first one, but unfortunately wasn't really able to follow it up with the second one because he whiffed a little bit of shots there. It's completely fine though.
Yeah, but you need to also address the fact that Godlike are treating this one like a brawl. On the attacking side, most of the success that Godlike was able to find was one they were hard executing towards the A side. And it seemed like the trades were just so easy for them to facilitate over there. And they used the exact same thing over here on defense as well. They just brawl it out, man. Forget utilities, forget timing. Godlike just want to fight.
Yeah, they just got a little alarm bot on the mid, so that means that's going to give the mid presence away. But they've got the Spectre in the hand, so that means the Spectres are just going to run the opponents down. This should be an easy stroll on the site, but no, Rexy! Oh, he shuts him down. That was a nice little shutdown coming out from the side of Rexy. Of course, a little glimmer of hope on the BO site was opened up, and that means MLT, there's a high chance they will be shut down now. They've got the last player up and alive. Knight Rider, who was on the flank, wasn't really expected in the back, but it's completely fine. Now the position's known, and Knight Rider wants to reposition himself. He's just trailing towards the mid side once again. Yep. I like this little setup. The players of Godlike showed up because they knew it's going to be a complete funnel on either of the sides, so they let the mid control be taken away. There was only one alarm bot on the mid. Godlike perfectly done.
Yeah, and as soon as that alarm bot was activated, Godlike adjusted quickly. They knew for a fact that it's gonna be a mid plus B crunch, so they take the positions to defend lane 1 and lane 2 only. They don't even want to fight directly towards market. They would much rather let Militant Esports try to make their way outside and then clear the million angles which they have to face. Knight Rider made a good move by reflanking them later on after the alarm bot and everything is destroyed. You know, a position which Godlike wouldn't expect, but by that time, it's too little too late and the spike is dropped in no man's land. Oh my god.
Info plays. And Venka 2 Cold's already on the top. He's got the Sheriff in the hand to play it, but the good thing for him is that he's inside the smoke. He won't be spotted.
Meanwhile, another pick's been taken off towards the B side. It's Knight Rider who was marking a B main push. And he gets the frag with the Marshal. Keep in mind that Militant forced last round, which means they don't have too much money this time, but they're still taking a risk by investing into this double Marshal setup. I mean, so far they've got the opening picks, so that's fine.
Yeah, they really just want to damage the opponent's eco no matter what. That's why they also forced on the previous round too, but Godlike, it seems like they're just way too strong. They're an uncrackable wall in the defensive side. And Knight Rider is walking into a death trap, and he does so. Hika will greet him easily with open arms. Another one to follow it up. This might just be his ace, and he will get it. Hika with a nice little 5-piece.
Just making it look easy, farming up those alt points, ready for the null command. This man just destroying his opponents, especially when they are adamant on repurchasing weapons. Yes, it was a bit of an economic risk that Militant Esports undertook in the previous round, but the fact that they try to do it again this time, it is heavily punished by Hika. Oh, and the amount of confidence this man's just gonna have after this is incredible.
Here we go. 78 is the scoreline. We started off in the second half where Godlike had a little disadvantage in the scoreline, but now it's almost evened out. Godlike, they have 1 round's lead, and look at Paradox. This man's holding a Bucky in the hand.
Yeah, that's...
Even though it's nerfed recently, but I'm still a little scared of that weapon. You never know when it's going to strike really strong.
Exactly. It is such a salty weapon, dude. The only other weapon which is saltier than this is probably a shotty. Knight Rider holding the same angle towards despawn, but this time, Militant Esports are not keen on picking up the fights with the Marshal like they did last time, and Godlike also double push instead of just sending one player to get information. Timing on Caramel is absolutely unfortunate. He was in the middle of falling back, and then he gets caught by Knight Rider. The exact same thing that happened last round as well.
Instantly the recall's being made. Look at her Crips. They find the opening onto B. And every single player's now being called back, so that means B executes going to be the play here. But Godlike, they're stacking up on the mid. Hika whiffs those crucial shots, and he will be cost with his life. But Blackhawk is still there, and Blackhawk needs to stay alive if the side control's taken away. And he's going to be going for quite a late take, quite a late flank, and he will be taken down. MLT, they get the side control and a flawless round too. And this is why I'm really scared of a lurking controller. If the lurking controller gets caught, the problem is that you're never going to have the other person to either retake or even execute a site.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if this Bad Love qualifies as a lurking controller, but the way he was shutting everybody down towards B-Link, it's incredible. On 3 separate occasions, the players of Godlike tried to enter Tiles and B-Link, and all 3 of them get taken down one by one. 2 of them by Bad Love, so really good defense by him.
Badman and Blackhawk, they're still those sleeping giants, still those sleeping beasts. Haven't been able to activate themselves so far. I mean, do they really need to, though? They've got the duelists just doing a great job so far. Paradox is always trying to be proactive, a step forward. You've got Knight Rider holding the flanks on the side of MLT. Just wait for someone to push up. The turret contact was the play there. And Knight Rider's going to peek out no matter what for the info. It's got nice little info that they've all at least fell back for now. And MLT, Knight Rider's the only man who's causing a little bit of distraction towards B, but Caramel is not going to be scared of that man. He pushes up right in his face.
It's also pretty interesting that Godlike have closed the market door already. And people usually only do that when they want to not place the alarm bot towards mid, but they're doing that. And on top of it, Godlike have figured out where the most of Militant Esports are. The 0 point catches 3 of them. And Godlike have all the information in the world. They've got the man advantage too, so they really don't need to do anything now. The ball's in the court of MLT, and they are dropping it.
Null command's activated, but they've got the op in play. A nice little flash to try and nullify the operator, but at least for now. But Hika is there in the back lines in the generator. He's just creating a lot of problems. And Rio, the only initiator alive, a cute little Sova, will be taken care of, gotten rid of. And at least it seems like, man, for Godlike, the fairy tale's about to come true.
Yeah, this fairy tale is not even anywhere close to what you read in the comics, you know? In comics, the princess who gets the help from the fairy godmother is actually in distress, but Godlike don't look stressed out at all. It seems like they've always been in the driving seat. It's Militant Esports who are struggling to keep up with them.
I just don't like that Militant Esports aren't trying to be assertive. Be assertive, take the control, be dominant, be the alphas.
Maybe with the lockdown they can be assertive.
Let's find out. At least they've got the counter operator on the play, because the operator from the side of Paradox did cause a lot of problems, at least in the previous round. Paradox is just holding the passive angle. He's going to let him just walk in their crosser, but he's getting a little too over-eager. The peak might just come soon enough, but he unpeaks it in the nick of time. And look at him, even when he gets tagged, he's still standing there. The amount of confidence the players of Godlikes have, it's crazy. But this time, the confidence wouldn't be rewarded.
Oh, finally they deal with Paradox. He was marking B main for such a long time, and MLT Esports acquired this man advantage at the 1 minute mark. Yet they're not willing to commit anywhere. The spike is still towards the attacking spawn. And yes, a lot of the militant players are knocking on the doors of B side, but it seems to be a contact play. Wenka commits his life. He's hoping to sell the fake convincingly enough, and whether he sells the fake or not, he's definitely gotten the violin started off. This pulls the rotations away. But Caramel is in the right place at the right time. He can intercept somebody, but there's also Battler to take care of. The timing is unfortunate.
Oh, looks away at the bad time, and Caramel will be instantly shut down. And MLT, they're making it look pretty easy. Hika, the other side is quite clear for him. But over here, they've got Knight Rider just waiting to put the cherry on top. But Knight Rider's going to fall back. He doesn't want to take any extra risk. He's got the operator in the hand, so he shouldn't be the one to take the extra risk anyways. But he's going to take a shot once again. Might as well go for it, right? You've got the operator. You have the advantage. So you might as well try and pull something off. But they're really respecting Hika way too much, and I'm not liking that. As a professional player, as a professional team, you can at least try and make a team of two and push him against each other.
I mean, that's fine. They've got bigger problems to deal with than hunting Hika down. At least they managed to deal with one of those problems in this round. They managed to pull the rotations away in time. And yes, Hika does get a consolation frag, but Badlove did his job really well in this round, even if he dies to Hika in the end. You see, the job of Wenka was to sell that fake convincingly, and he did that. He pulled the rotations away, but Caramel's like, hold on, something's not right. He went back towards the B side in case MLT Esports decide to hit the side again, and he was correct. Yeah. He predicted correctly, and on paper, Caramel should have been enough to defend this, or at least get a couple of trades before he finally died. But because Battler was teleporting right behind him, he couldn't even stop the players from B main. And Caramel was then just caught in this awkward area where he's got no backup, nowhere to go, nowhere to even stay safe.
Paradox on the operator once again, and the counter lockdown too is invested. They've got no Hunter's Fury for any sort of counter on both the sides, so they are going to be left unanswered. And Bad Love shuts down the entire aim-in push. So here comes the rotation once again. But they've got a huge wall to crack in mid, and that's going to be in the name of Paradox. He's just standing there tall and strong. And with those nice little equalizer frags, they're managed to at least equalize things for now, nullify things for now. It's a 3-on-3. And Venka too cold, wants to go for the mid control, wants to go for unknown mid presence. But the door's being shut down on the face of Venka. It's the Legend on the other side of the door. Let's see if the Legend can do anything to make the round back in their hands.
Yeah, I mean, they knew that Caramel's alarm bot was deactivated, but yet the read on Godlike is spectacular. They closed the door in their face, which means no B-main crunch is possible, and Rexy almost lined them up. But now that the B-side's lost for good, Venka needs to stop these crossings from happening. Somehow, Paradox survives that encounter.
Spike planted.
The game's going quite close. And Nav, quick flash just to let Venka cross over. Perfectly calculated. Nice little team play coming out. It's a 2-on-3 scenario, so that means MLT will play this one a little suppressed, a little slow. And that's what they're exactly doing.
Player standing.
And as we can see, yeah, Bad Man, as soon as he finds the opening, they know the last man is with the operator and also with the Blade Storm. But Paradox, he wants to go for a save. He doesn't want to go for any sort of fight. A wise decision, of course, a wise option chosen from Paradox. He's going to let the opponents have a little lead for now, but I'm pretty sure they've got some sort of counter cooked up because B-side has been a little vulnerable since the previous 2 rounds.
Yeah, the B-side does look vulnerable, and that's partially because MLT Esports are playing on timing. I mean, even in this round, right? You see, the 2 lockdowns placed right alongside each other cancel each other out. That's just one big ruse. What's the ruse for? It's to set Battle up for success. And
Exactly.
as soon as those lockdowns were planted, you could tell that Godlike are not convinced this is a B take. They still wanted to confirm whether it's true or not, and that's exactly why Godlike sent 2 players down A main to check whether someone's there or not, or whether it's a fake or not. Of course, they were met by Battler, which results in an instant double kill, and then Battler goes all the way towards the top of A site, which really convinces Godlike that, hey, this A site is a threat. Buys them so much space, and Millicent can easily take this B site. Yeah.
And that's what usually a little problem is, right? It's that when you're going to be shift walking and peeking a corner, there's a high chance you guys are going to line up. But if you guys are just going to straight up wide swing, the chances of that happening are pretty low. So I recommend if you're going to be pushing in the pair of 2, just try to wide swing an angle.
I mean,
that's way better.
That's too nuanced of a topic. I mean, the fact that Rexy had that read itself is good enough, but look at Hika now. He's trying to lure Knight Rider back, and Knight Rider might just get the kills!
No. He gets it, but instantly gets traded out too, so that kill's not going to be that rewarding for him. The spikes also went down, and the scoreline's 10-9, so that means Godlike, they're really desperate to get this win in their hands. They do not want the opponent team to run away with the lead here, because as soon as they get the 11th round on the board, they will also have some sort of confidence that'll help them win these rounds. Nice little one-way smoke to stop that operator. At least for now, Rexy with the Sheriff in the hand, he's got a lot on his shoulders. Problem is, Godlike, they don't really have the guns advantage. They will need to make something out of nothing here. The Sheriffs are going to be tough to strike, and that's the problem. Godlike, they're falling apart one by another. And the last man, Paradox, will go for a save, but Venka is on a trail. He's on a run. He's on the hunt. And this time, Paradox doesn't miss a shot. He catches the man slipping by. Another one, too, but Paradox, they've got him in a deadlock. He might just be taken down here, but no, it's going to be the answer. He's an absolute beast.
Woo! I mean, you can't win the round, but at least you cripple their economy, so something's better than nothing, am I right? Those were some stylish shots for Paradox, though. He shouldn't have been able to get so many. But yet, MLT Esports inching closer and closer to victory. And they make it look so easy this time. It was quite a simple push from them, right? Unlike the previous round where they were all over the place towards A, towards B, towards mid, this time they kept it relatively clean.
A quick flash and dash on the B site. MLT, they're done playing this one safe. They really just want to control. They're hungry for it. We're talking about asserting dominance, but this is not the way you want to assert it. Godlike's utility placement, the timing is just way too perfect. This time they're able to stop the B dominance. And now, MLT, they're in huge trouble.
Bad love wanting to challenge that angle. Because he got that double kill in the previous round, he thought he could do it again. This time, though, doesn't beat the same fate. Rio is doing a good job of getting these kills, but still, this spike is dropped in no man's land, and it's gonna be so difficult to acquire it again. Paradox will just simply make it impossible.
Paradox with the up is just locking down the B site. He's not letting anyone cross on over. And yeah, the spike is pretty much just given to B, so this is next to impossible to secure the round. And Rio is also getting scanned by the dart, but he still finds one. I'm surprised, but it's okay. I'm loving it.
Oh, whoa. Nice. They've got cheering squads in the stadium as well. Man, I wish we were there.
Me too. I wish I was there too, just cheering.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe we could have cast it from the cheering side too. We would have let the people talk as well. What do you say? It would have been kind of cool.
Interacting with the crowd. That's quite nice.
Sick. Okay. Before now, it's a tactical timeout from the opponents. Godlike. Things are going in their favor as they know they've won the previous round, so that means that might just be the momentum breaker they were searching for so long. On the other hand, MLT don't really want to let that round hinder their mentality. That's why they've called this a little tactical timeout. They really do want to change things, switch things around. As we know, MLT's coach is Rexstreams, so he's going to try to come up with some new and unique ideas.
Yeah, and Rexstreams is the kind of player who really does quite a lot to counter his enemy team. He's one of the best coaches when it comes to researching your opponent and then bringing a counter based on that. But unfortunately, what research are you going to do about Godlike? They haven't played any games before this. They're not even
Exactly.
playing with their main lineup, so all your research is just nullified. It's going to be up to them to somehow come up with a counter on the spot.
Here we go. After the tactical timeout, I want to see what sort of changes we've seen so far. MLT, a heavy presence towards A. They've got 4 players available towards A site. And as always, this is where you've got the man like Paradox just striking in. And he's just stopping every single player of MLT to make an entry. Paradox. How does he make it happen? He's not scared even an inch. I mean, I like the read from Godlike, but Paradox single-handedly is more than enough to stop the entire push. And Knight Rider from Tree will find another one.
Camel changed his setup this time. The nanoswarm's placed on a shot to stop a push like that. Militant had found success over there quite a lot, but since he gives up his life, even Rio is free to move about. Paradox now repositions himself, hoping to catch Rio off guard, but the timing again is unfortunate, and Rio hears this. He can even get 2 kills if he's lucky enough. Rexy marking, but still, Rio is sharper.
And that's going to be the equalizer too, Crips. Huge equalizer from their side. Knight Rider 45 HP in the hand. And now they're going to try to re-hit the A site once again. A good news for them is that the Killjoy has been taken down, so that means all the utilities the Killjoy had placed on the A site, they're going to be deactivated pretty much. Bad Love on top of the generator isn't expected. Oh, the angles, the off angles they're being punished by. It's just incredible. Militant, they're really able to punish Godlike with these angles and these timings, and Godlike... Only Paradox is always able to try and pull something off with the Operator, but this time it's going to be a little tough. Switches on over to the Vandal and knows the Operator is not going to be in play if you're going to be the only man alive.
Yeah, you're better off saving. I mean, luckily for Godlike, at least they've got money, so even if he goes down here, they can afford to purchase once again. Militant, though, they don't have the money, so if Paradox gets those opening frags, exit frags, he will definitely make things slightly easier for his team. That being said, it all came down to Rio and his presence on mid, which really pulled around in the bag of Militant Esports. I mean, look at it. I mean, Godlike, they basically shut Militant down early on, right? They turned it into a 3v5 instantly, right off the bat. And even though the Killjoy was dead and Rio's angle was marked, it comes down to timing. He's able to get the kill onto Rexy, then somehow also able to challenge Paradox into a very uncomfortable spot. And keep in mind, Rio did not break the mid door, even though it was shut in his face. All he did was get that kill on mid, which threw Blackhawk into a very uncomfortable position. He was climbing up on heaven, hoping to reinforce mid, but he just got caught in the middle of transition in the open.
Oh, that paranoia is playing a huge round, or huge role inside this round. Again, they have got a couple of players suppressed, at least with the null command, but the problem is, Badman's just right on the edge. And he's been taken down too, so that means Badman's not going to be able to do a lot. And on the other hand, Paradox's op strikes again!
I got the spike.
Oh, someone needs to put a full stop to Paradox's story, because he is single-handedly racking up these kills.
Like he always does. Luckily for Militant, they do have the weaponry and the ultimates to work with in the next round. So this is either overtime or bust.
Yeah, Lockdown and Hunter's Fury should be able to save them the upcoming round. But on the other hand, Rexy, he just utilized his Hunter's Fury, so he doesn't have any. So the countering the Killjoy's ultimate is going to be really tough unless you're going to have a perfect read on the opponents. And you're able to know exactly where Knight Rider is and what he's able to pull off. And before him,
30 seconds left.
you try to just suppress him with the KO 0 point. Maybe that'll buy you a decent amount of time.
Whew. That being said, even though Godlike Esports are getting the opening frags, Militant Esports sometimes are able to get the mid-round to work for them.
10
That's
seconds
partially
left.
why they were able to get to the map point in the first place. And it's not like Militant Esports are outmaneuvering Godlike. No, it's nothing like that. Godlike have the read on Militant most of the times. But every now and then, somebody manages to slip through the gaps. Sometimes Militant manage to thread the needle just right. And it catches Godlike off guard, even though they saw that play coming from a mile away.
all the people who are watching.
Nice little
Yeah,
cute high waved by Kamaljeet over there.
yeah. Just saying
Even-
hello to all the audience.
Yeah. Even Hacker's in the audience. I mean, I saw him watching the game.
Yo,
yeah.
I can already tell he's cooking up some strategies, man. He's just sitting
Yeah.
down there. Even though he doesn't really have the notebook in his hands, but his brain's more than enough. It's
Yeah.
capable to put all the notes down. And he knows whichever team went from over here, he will need to find a kryptonite for the upcoming games. But let's talk about that later. They've got the lockdown in play. And as we talked about this, MLT, one big side for them is that the opponents do not have anything to try and counter this. There is Paradox maybe trying to push the limits, but that's not going to be the case. Paradox is going to fall back. An easy stroll on the site. MLT will get the site control, and the spike plant should be possible too. So that means it's all going to come down to the post plant.
Yeah. And to get the post plant rolling, Godlike do have the Cosmic Divide. So nobody from Militants can afford to play towards A main because they will be locked out of the action. Hunter's Fury goes through. This should definitely put a spanner in the works of Godlike, and Rio is racking up the kills. He's making sure Godlike don't have enough space to set up this retake. And when they do find it, they try to suppress everybody else. This should prevent Blackhawk from placing down that Cosmic Divide at least for a few more seconds. But the time is running out, and with it, the hopes of Godlike as well.
Godlike don't really have a lot of time, and finally now the Cosmic Divide's invested too. The amount of time that's being brought, all Godlike need to do is just get this entire site in their hand, and they have done so far. But the problem is, MLT with this judge, it's gonna be a really punishing score, and that's what exactly happens. Rio also manages to knife someone. Oh boy. Rio with that knife, and he also got a nice little 4-piece if I'm not wrong in that previous one. So Rio steps up huge for his team in that last round and saves the day for MLT Esports. MLT, they get the first map in their hands, and the way MLT have stepped up is of course quite huge. We didn't expect to see such sort of a team play from MLT Esports considering how their showcase match was inside the entire BCSA.
Yeah, Militant Esports really struggling to get this map in the back, but they make it through in the end. Godlike Esports made them sweat. And it comes down to Rio and his abilities to dance around the Cosmic Divide, jiggling across that tiny gap, and gets that 4K. Not just that, he also adds insult to injury by getting the knife kill onto Rexy. Now that is something I didn't see coming.
Well, we definitely didn't see a lot of things coming, right, Crips? But we'll have this conversation going on right after this short break.
Hit for my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Hit most of it, I get it in.
The all-new i20 Born Magnetic.
Making dreams come true and memories happier.
I know my destiny.
Gentlemen, all the YouTube viewers, welcome back once again inside Valorant Challenger South Asia. We're going to be jumping straight inside the Asian Select, and as we do all know, Caramel once again is going to be sticking with that Killjoy role. Rexy on the Initiator. You've got Paradox once again back on the Jet. Hika, oh, he's going to go for a breach this time.
Well, that's quite nice. I usually expected Hika to play a role which would involve him being more proactive, but hey, helping his teammates set up for success is also quite a nice thing. At least with Hika and Paradox being together, I'm expecting them to make those hero plays which they weren't able to make in Ascent. Blackhawk, on the other hand, with him on Omen, I'm assuming that it's going to be up to him to somehow make sure that Militant can't lurk. He has to be the anti-lurk in a position like this.
And it's crazy, in the pregame segment too, we're pretty much just talking about this, right? Their lineups has to be double Initiator, and that's what exactly is happening. Double Initiator, one Controller, one Sentinel, and a Duelist. Pretty much the basic lineup that you can expect from these teams. The Asian Select is done, and now we're about to head inside the map soon enough. This is going to be the second map, either to seal the deal in the favor of MLT Esports, or we will go all the way to the third map in the series if Godlike are able to get this map in their hands.
It's a big if. If Godlike managed to push this game into map number 3, then Pearl is this really uncomfortable, uncharted territory for either of these teams. Godlike Esports, their setup looks quite good so far. You've got Caramel setting up his stuff towards Garage and C. You've got only Rexy playing towards A. I'm assuming he's just going to send one recon out and fall back. But at least Godlike Esports have the right read off the start. Militant going for a fast B hit, and Menka pushes right in. Decapitating Hika on the way. Paradox not in a position to trade each other out, but he's trapped. At least he takes down Batman before he bites the dust, but look at the spamming from Blackhawk. He's able to find a kill without even having a line of sight.
B-side closed out by MLT. They've got the control, also got the spike down. Post plant kicks in quite early. That was quite a nice little proactive control on the B-side. Usually it's quite tough to expect the B-side control right off the bat, and that's what the players of MLT did. Expect the unexpected is what MLT is trying to push the lesson on the players of Godlike. Is going for the defuse. The smoke is there to try and help Rexy a little bit. It's made all the way halfway, but Rexy shuts down the man who tried to close in. He's also got a frenzy in the hand, but unfortunately the gun's dried up. And Rio inside window. He tried to do something, but Caramel is still up and alive. The last glimmer of hope, which is fading away.
Good stuff by MLT. There was a stack from Godlike on the B side. There were two people ready to intercept, but both those players got isolated. Paradox was just a tad bit late to help out his fellow teammate, and by that time there were already players behind him. Rexy too, sticking the defuse in the smoke was really brave. He was half hoping that people would push him right off the bat, and while they were focused on the spike diffuser, that's when Caramel would come in and sweep up them from behind. Unfortunately, those two things did not happen together.
And even considering this is the second map of the series, now the pressure is going to start a subside. Godlike, they know the opponent, of course, is all the way towards C-side. The information's also given away. Do Godlike really want to commit to this push? That's my question. Yeah, exactly. Paradox falls back and lets him do their decisions, but eventually he wants to go for a proactive control once again. They're gaining a lot of map control right now, and also they're also gaining a lot of vital information. And MLT to find the opening on the B, and once again they're just gonna straight up stroll inside the B side. Not good for Godlike, of course, but this is just the eco round, so even if they do end up losing this, it's not gonna hurt him a lot.
And look at how deep Militant go. They don't just take the front of B side, plant, and then fall back. They also go all the way towards Garage, go towards the back of side. This, like I said in the pre-game segment, you need to take away the space from Godlike to help set up their retakes, you know. I said this for Militant. I said that they are the ones who get uncomfortable when Godlike pushes in deep. But, I mean, they're using their own weaknesses against Godlike. I guess it applies to them, then it applies to everyone.
MLT are being quite assertive, and I'm loving it. They're being quite dominant inside the attacking side, at least in the first two rounds. That's what we're able to see. But this is where the test will really be conducted. Are MLT going to be as assertive as they were in the first 2 rounds, or are MLT going to slow the pace down? That's what I want to know, because now the Vandals and Phantoms are in play for Godlike. So the firepower is going to be a little bit more strong compared to the previous 2 round. And Godlike, on the other hand, instantly, they're just going for the aggressive peek, because Godlike, no, MLT, they're just trying to replicate the same strategy over and over again, and Venka gets shut down. Venka, the overcommitment, the teammates weren't there to try things out, and Venka is not going to be able to find anything.
Yep. The weaponry advantage really putting a spanner in the works for Militant. Oh, but the moment I say that, Knight Rider uses his Spectre and creates some magic with it. But does he have enough magic to complete this trick? Can he pull a rabbit out of the hat?
1 enemy remaining.
Not anymore, at
down
least not for
mid.
real. Elevation from Blackhawk not expected by him. And at this range,
Oh my
Knight Rider
God.
is deadly. He's even got the opportunity to go all the way to its C-side, but unfortunately the spike is not in his possession.
This is the bonus round for MLT.
Coming back.
That means even if MLT do lose out on this round, it's not going to hurt them a lot inside the economical structure of the game. And Knight Rider, he's already quite happy. His bullets of pain are just shredding through Godlike's armor.
30 seconds left.
And the players are falling apart one after the other. And it seems like he's also going to go for a Phantom save. Trying to be a bit of a team player here. He's still got 20 seconds in the hand to try and pull anything off or execute anything off in just these 20 seconds. It's quite a tough job, but he's still going for that. I thought he might just go for a save, but that's not going to be the case. Last moment rush, last minute rush on the A site.
Placing swarm grenade. Swarm grenade out.
Oh. Can he actually get this plant? They're challenging him. Never mind, it's not happening.
Turret down.
1 enemy remaining.
Okay.
Hey, but it's still a damn good round for them, right? I mean,
Yeah.
oh, never mind. It would have been amazing if Knight Rider actually got to carry that weapon forward into the next round, but the amount of economic damage they inflicted, still quite nice.
Really nice. I mean, Godlike, they had all the Phantoms and Phantoms were in play. They pretty much invested every single piece of economy they had available.
Down mid.
So that means in the upcoming round, they're definitely going to be on an eco deficit.
Turret down.
And that's the problem, on the credit deficit. So that means you might just have some broken buys. Yeah, you do have 1 Vandal on the deck there, but the rest of the players are going to be on the Judges and Bulldogs Inspector.
I'm surprised Godlike Esports at this split apart. Fault line to let Rexy peek.
Oh no.
Doesn't get the kill, but at least he's figured out that there's at least 2 attackers in this area. This prompts Caramel to play even more aggressively to its C. Get that land grab. But yet, the plan from Godlike is quite clear, right? You reinforce Garage and C quite a lot. Let A be relatively free. Play it for a retake. And it works out for them because even Militant
should
Esports are
run.
going for a very slowish default.
Rexy's playing quad behind just with a Spectre, so that means he's respecting the opponents. Godlike, they are going to let him have the A-side control, and Rexy even knew that lockdown's going to be invested, so I might as well just play all the way in the Haven. Even if I do get detained, it's not going to be a problem. And that's what exactly happens, but look at this push from Blackhawk. From the shadows, utilized. Is he expected in the backlines? That's what my question is. And no, he's being unchecked, but every single player from the side of Godlike is on a flank. So even if that from the shadow was utilized, that's only going to be used to chop off that 1 single player who was in Haven, which is Rexy. But Rexy too sniffs the man out.
Militant are just really surgical right now. Leaving nothing to chance, playing so methodically. Okay. Okay, like... Am I cursed? Like, I said in the previous round, Knight Rider made a lot of economic damage. Would be amazing if he walks away with the weapon. He died. And this time too, I said Militant Esports, very surgical, making no mistakes, and he dies to his own teammates, Nano Swarm.
Oh no, that's a little 1G moment.
I mean, at least they're cool about it. At least they're not tilting because of it.
Oh yeah, I mean, they know, as long as they get the round in the back, as long as they don't lose the round because of that mistake, everyone's going to be cool. Again, an eco on the side of Godlike. They did use from the shadows, so that means 1 ultimate was used in the previous round to be a little proactive and to try and rotate on the other side. But Bad Love, all he needs is 1 more orb to get the ultimate back in his hands, and he will probably try and use it to play a little bit of mind games with the players of Godlike. Look at where Paradox is. He's going for the op. This man is a madman. He wanted to steal the orb away. Oh, that's a nice little fake he's trying to sell. But is the fake going to be grabbed by MLT? That's what my question is. Now they know he's right there. But once again, the presence is known. That means Blackhawk will need to play this safe and sound.
I'm surprised he stayed alive over there for so long. At least with this, he can now figure out that Militant Esports are heading to the seaside, and this lets Godlike position appropriately. They even intercept Badlove and his shenanigans. No, but Wenka can't get the entry right. Godlike have reinforced this way too hard, and it's impossible for Militant to breach in.
Oh boy, Thrifty. This is the first Thrifty. In the previous map, we didn't see any sort of Thrifties, but this is the first ever Thrifty that we saw. And Godlike really needed this too. Beautifully played. Those proactive moves, those counter aggression that we saw. Everything was just done so perfectly, and they pretty much just chopped the entire rush off.
And it's all because of Blackhawk and his heroics. You wouldn't expect someone like an Omen to push that deep into grass. And even if you do expect him to push, you wouldn't expect him to overstay his welcome for that long.
Bladestorm used. Venka towards the garage area. MLT, a huge change in the pace this time. Letting their thoughts kick in. And now the Bladestorm's going to lead the charge. Venka's got a lot on his shoulders, so that means this man has to be the one to open the fray up. Rexy is instantly conveying the call to. You can see in his webcam, he's just shouting at his teammates. Guys, it's going to be an A execute. And it is MLT. A side taken easily in the hand, and now everything will be played on the post plant. Godlike, a lot to look up to.
If somebody gets tagged up by that drone, it's going to be a disaster. Rexy can let the Hunter's Fury through. Ooh. No, but Wenka went in by himself. That was a very unfortunate one. Quite a lot of ultimates available on either side. I'm excited to see which one gets popped first. But Militant are the ones who are just popping the heads of Godlike. Leave nothing to chance. Rolling Thunder goes through, and this should prompt the aggression. But Caramel's already coming in from the back lines. And he's not alone. Pika's there to back him up. Badlove shuts them both down. Somehow Blackhawk is still alive inside the smoke, playing around the dark cover. But can he bring the light forward? Can he be the example that lets Godlike come through? No, he isn't. Militant, hang on.
Militant. Oh boy, they're always just able to take these rounds in their hands, and Godlike, I'm pretty sure they're getting slowly and steadily annoyed by this. And as you do look at the replays too, the smoke was not too perfect from Badlove, and that's why Paradox was able to abuse it a little bit, found the opening, instantly fell back, but eventually Badlove was able to capitalize and pretty much equalize the thing there. He got the trade for himself. But as you can see now, Godlike, they have 4 ultimates available, Crips. This is huge. They can play for the retake easily if they want.
The first one's been popped already, the Bladestorm in effect. Oh, and Paradox can hear everything. He's given information to his teammates that there's at least 3 members headed towards C. Little does he know that it's the entirety of Militant Esports, and he's on the flank. He uses the Cloudburst to make sure that the turret doesn't mark him cross, and he might just go unchecked. Both the Hunter's Fury are popped at the same time. Laser beams across the floor.
Oh my
God! Godlike, who is letting Paradox sing the song of death. No, this isn't demonic. This is straight up satanic.
Oh boy. Being the Grim Reaper in that previous round, just taking all the lifelines away from his opponents. He was like, and as I said, Godlike are probably getting annoyed with the way their opponents able to get the site control and able to pay the post plant on the team play. And Paradox is like, all right, you guys are playing on the team play, it's completely fine. I'm going to shut down your entire team just with my aim.
Yeah. And so smartly just uses the Cloudburst to cover the turret. Nobody could see his entry. Oh, but poor Badman, he's been spammed down to 34 HP already. Even Knight Rider, super low on health. It's just a few seconds in the round. And Militant have already lost most of their head points. Now, this is quite a slow one. I mean, I thought Militant would make a fast push, but instead they're trying to approach Garage. Battle of dies towards mid. Are you serious?
No.
They're re-aggressing. Caramel is unstoppable.
Yeah, just asserting back the dominance, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. You are not supposed to give a lot of map control away, and Godlike this time, they're just done giving the map control. They really want to play this one proactive. They want to assert the dominance back, and that's what they're doing, Paradox. This man is pushing limits, and as always, just comes out victorious with his heroics for his team.
Yeah, and this time, I can't even call it heroics, right? Hero is when you push out alone. Godlike had everyone fighting aggressively. All of them woke up and chose violence. There has been heavy mid-presence from Godlike over the last 2 rounds. And this time, it's finally time that Militant do something about it. They've taken this tactical timeout. Hopefully, they will address the Godlike mid-aggression. But what could be the counter to this? Do Militant hold defaults? Do they re-aggress in some other part of the map? There's plenty of options on the table, but there's no ideal one.
This timeout is definitely to have a little chat with the Rex streams and try and figure out an upcoming strategy. Let's see what sort of a new little strategy they're going to come up with, because MLT definitely on a little struggling phase after Godlike has decided to be a little proactive and go for those aggressive plays. And that's what I personally think. Like, I understand if you're going to try to play for retake, but personally, as a player, I feel like you should only go for retakes when you know the retake is 90% possible, and that's when you're going to be having those retakeable abilities, for example, lockdown or those rolling thunders. But Godlike, even though they have those, they're still going for that proactive move.
That just tells you how much Godlike is willing to fight, how much they're willing to draw blood. Okay. This recon dot doesn't reveal much, but again, Godlike do not step off the brakes. Caramel goes all the way inside. Of course, he gets traded, so that's a good readjustment from Militant. You can see how keen Militant are to continue playing their defaults. But as soon as Godlike cut aggression on mid, they re-aggress towards both C and A main, and Rexy wins the fight. Can he fall back in time? Yes, he just escapes with the lick of his life, and he tries to re-aggress a bit too much, and Rio finally punishes him.
But still, MLT, it seemed like they were on an HP deficit, and they still are going to be, because that was an equalizer frag. Paradox off strikes again like lightning. But he's got the Rolling Thunder available as soon as he hears about the player. Is he going to use it or not? That's my question. He's also got a lot of utilities in the hand and also an Aftershock to try and deny the plant, but it's not going to be needed. This man will just take him down solo, behalf of his aim. And not even a single piece of utility utilized by the breach.
Not at all. Yeah, but Godlike, I thought that they would continue their aggression towards mid, which I was correct about. But what I did not expect was them to push out A main and C long at the same time. Most teams do not do this. Most teams aggress one place at a time. There's a push and pull mechanic that gets deployed by almost every single defender. Godlike ignore the prime principle. They ignore that push and pull principle and they just send it in.
Yeah.
Wilson would have never seen this coming.
They're fighting for the map control, and I'm loving it. Godlike knows as long as you've got a lot of map control on a triple-sided map, that means it's going to pretty much just help you secure that round.
Yeah, but I agree they want map control, but this is just them wanting it a bit too much. To the extent that they are greedy like this. And hey, I like greed. But this time all of a sudden, Godlike cut the aggression. They played quite passively, waiting for Militant to make the first move. I mean, of course, they know that Militant are on an eco, so they wouldn't want to over-aggress and walk into a trap set up by Militant. Godlike are more than happy to just chill back.
I just love it. They've given the entire B site control. They've only got one little alarm bot settled up near B site, while they've also got one smoke to make sure the opponents aren't going to get any sort of info just yet. And yeah, the A side read is done perfectly. One player's in the backside. We've also got Hika taken down, so that's a good opening. But Rexy on the backside might just cause a lot of issues, but that's not going to be the case. The Sheriffs are going to roll in like it's nothing, and it's going to strike a lot of players down on the site. 2 players taken down, but it's completely fine. Caramel finds the opener. It's going to be the equalizer too. And Godlike with the operator. This might just be their round because, as I said, the operator has to be the difference maker inside this one. But Paradox isn't quite enough with spot. And what a shot! The drop down comes in, but it's not going to affect him at all. I like what he tried to do here. but still quite risky.
Yeah, it was a risky move, but the odds were stacked against him. Militant pull off a thrifty. Is this the second thrifty they've had so far?
Yep.
It's incredible, right? 0 in the first game, and now in the first half of Haven, you've got 2 already. And that's what happens when Godlike cut aggression.
Yeah, the first one was by Godlike, and now it's by MLT, so...
Oh, yeah, okay, it's the second one. Yeah. They both do each other dirty once. But, yeah, I mean, you see what happens when Militant are able to crawl in. It's not even like they executed in with all their util. They creeped up towards the mouth of A main and A short first, almost like they were making a contact play. And then they send in everything. Fault line, paranoia, recon. You name it, they've got it.
MLT aren't playing scared. And that can definitely be something that is helping them here a little bit. All the players stacked on the A side so far. Godlike haven't really got the read done, but here comes the lockdown. And this is an interesting one too. Rexy does have a little pocket he can play around with, but the smoke's going to shut him off. So that means Rexy's angle that he's been holding is going to be pretty much deactivated. And they also get the side control in hand, and now it's all down to MLT to try and devour the entire defensive side, but that's not going to be the case. Rexy starts off with a bang.
Bad love. I think his battle will be spotted. Even if it isn't, he's got way too much heat coming down his shoulders. And they don't check him. He devours everybody. Yes, Hika sends the rolling thunder through, but what's the point when you've got nobody to follow up with it?
Last man up, and MLT, they've got him in a deadlock. It's not going to be causing any sort of issues. MLT, another round on the board. And always, it's these little tactical timeouts that are being called, and then you see a huge change from the side, and then they're always able to just roll through. MLT's tactical timeouts are really proven out to be quite precious for them. And also playing little mind games with their opponents. MLT, I'm loving that they've amped up the pace.
Oh my god, this is a fast one from either side. Paradox rushing down C-Long, and so much counter-util is being thrown at him by Militant Esports. Almost the entirety of the team is present here. And just with utilities exchange, they push each other back, but Paradox very keen on pushing through. Presses the attack. Badman trades it back, but this sort of aggression from Godlike tells you how many people are present on C. You saw the Breach util, you even saw the Omen util come through, so Militant should have enough info to make adjustments.
They definitely know Breach is there. That's one thing. And Godlike try to counter aggression with aggression. And once again, MLT, they're stacking up outside A.
Scanning ahead.
Rex is going to toss in a recon. Just wanting to gather some info. He doesn't know if the B control is taken away because the alarm bot that was near B, it's gotten rid of. So they're still thinking that the B control's been taken away, but now he's finally going to have some sort of an idea, some sort of a semblance that there is an A take coming in soon enough, but Rexy is still way too worried about the flank from B. But eventually he's not going to be able to. And there we go. A side taken in the hand. And MLT, now it's all going to come down to the post plant. Hunter's Fury is available. They've also got the lockdown. It's going to be an exchange of abilities.
Okay, so this lockdown at least gives them a little bit something to work with, but luckily the counter Hunter's Fury doesn't catch anyone, so Militant have all their players. 4v4. It's time to press the attack. Animal drops straight down to hell. Into the Nether Realm. Wenka goes out, doesn't respect the crossfire, and he gets instantly punished for that. Yes, Bad Luck comes through with the trade, but this could have been disastrous.
Oh, what?
By himself.
That's huge.
Can they make it work?
That was a big move by Badlove. As soon as he got stunned, he pretty much teleported inside the smoke, and the timing also worked in his favor. So that was huge. And Badlove pretty much saved the day for his team and worked around with his teammate. But the first half, again, we're left with a lot of question mark, Crips, and I feel like nothing can be said confidently just yet. The second half is going to be way too entertaining. And guys, if you guys want to take a look at the second half, you guys will need to wait a little bit because we'll be right back after the short break.
Hit for my wins, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Hit multiple wins, I get it in.
The all-new i20, born magnetic.
Hit for my wins, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Hit most of wins, I get it in.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, into the second half. That's about to begin soon enough. And Crips, I mean, first half, quite an interesting one. MLT, I love that they're able to read what Godlike's trying to put up to the table, but even Godlike, they're trying to bring a little mix.
Yeah, and Godlike always mixing it up. The amount of aggression they showed was truly incredible, especially when they were trying to take that space up. That was what resulted in majority of their success. Sometimes pushing straight out of B, sometimes doing it both towards B and Garage. And you've got Paradox being the tip of the spear. 14 frags for this man already. The rest of him also need to step up. That being said, though, given the pace that Godlike was playing with in the first half, I'm kind of scared of what's going to happen now. They cut all the sound. They try to make a contact play towards A, but I'm pretty sure that when the time is right, they will bombard the A side with utility. Basically, carpet bomb it, which will force Rio to fall back, and there you have it. Side's taken already.
Yeah. They've also got Caramel waiting for the flank, so they know. They've got a little confirmation that there's a high chance the flank's going to be rolling up. And look at how patient Caramel is. Two players are going to soon enough just flow inside his crosser, and no one's going to have a clue that Caramel's over here. Not two, make it three. If he plays this perfectly, he will be rewarded with all 3 kills, and it seems like he will be. Caramel, a monstrous play from his side. The patience paying off, and now it's left to his teammates to just clean things up and sweep things up.
Oh, Rio boiled down, shocked to oblivion. Still kicking ass. Still getting quite a lot of shots off. But again, the odds are so heavily stacked against him. There's no way he can pull this one off. Caramel, the precipice of patience. The prime example of trigger discipline. He waited for the turret to make contact, and as soon as the turret was taken down, he decided to peek. He wouldn't have expected so many to come through from the back lines, but hey, he was more than happy to lap up all those kills.
Rio, though, still a commendable job from his side. He tried to at least try and hold things together, but Godlike, man, Caramel played that way too perfectly. And now he's also able to elevate himself up a little bit on the scoreboard as well. Outside C, everyone stacked up, but look at this. They've got 3 players just waiting for this push to be in. And you've got Badman just holding up with the tremor. Oh, Rio kicks things off with a nice little Sheriff headshot. That means Paradox is going to be deactivated, at least inside this round. But Rio's found himself in a huge HP deficit. Again, Godlike, they have a huge guns advantage, so that means them winning this round is quite huge.
Yeah, I mean, they just need to punish the economy of MLT Esports.
Not ready
and
yet.
Try to make sure that they can carry as many of their weapons forward into the next round. If somehow MLT are able to win this one, then Godlike will have a 2-round deficit to deal with later on. That being said, rotations of militants are inbound, but will they reach here in time to stop this Godlike attack? Knight Rider is just playing jiggle around these smokes, and all of a sudden Godlike just turn up the heat, bring the aggression, and turn the A side into a mass grave.
Eco round easily secured. That's not a quest. That's not that tough of a task for them. The upcoming round definitely should be. Now, Godlike are, of course, going to be playing the upcoming round on the bonus, so that's going to be a nice little plus thing. If Godlike do secure the bonus as well, that means Godlike will definitely be having a dominating start to the entire second half. But, again, MLT will be having a guns advantage. They should have the Vandals and Phantoms on the deck. And to counter that with a Spectre, that means you will need to try and get real up close and personal. That means the only way they can try to do that is either try and execute Garage or the B site.
Placing sentry.
Okay, I mean, those are not that bad options. Let's see if they actually attempt those or not.
What they're doing.
For now, Paradox moving right in. He dashes towards Garage instead of going towards side, and Knight Rider is prepared for this.
They were just really waiting for him to sort of find the pick, and as soon as he would have found the pick, then every single player from Godl would have just followed up, but now that's not going to be the case. Every single one's just stacked outside A. The call should be given away too. The rotation's now going to start flowing in, and I'm not really a huge fan of what Godlike are trying to pull off here. And yep, as I said, it's going to be a huge graveyard from them. MLT, we're just waiting. I told you. A site wasn't a good choice at all. The only choices were either B or C, and they failed to take the C site, so that's why they tried to reroute. And A site, they were just waiting with a nice little crossfire.
Yeah, and this crossfire is so annoying to deal with, especially when none of the attackers are coming in from short. This gives so much space to Blackhawk, and I'm sorry, not Blackhawk, it gives so much space to Badlove. And Wenka, he isn't just gold, this man is on fire. He's channeling the hellfire all the way from the bottom of the deepest circle of hell into this server and mowing everybody down. Sheesh, I would be so scared to go up against this guy if he's the one anchoring A.
Yeah, he didn't miss a single shot there. Like, all heads. Whoever stood in front of him, he just completely decapitated him. But Godlike now, as we know, their bonus round is ended. Now even they have a nice little guns. The Vandals on the deck for themselves, and Paradox already nicely starting things up for his team. They've got the B site under control, but no is going to be the answer. I thought they did, but instantly he got shut down by Badman. But eventually, they get their claw back inside the B site. It's a 3-on-3 situation in which MLT, they're trying to just lock him in the site. And Godlike, they are falling in the trap, and they do. The spike's being spotted. That's a huge one.
At least they've cleared out the C site. That's what Rexy was working on all this time. As an insurance policy, he activates it now. And look what he's trying to do now, going all the way towards the defender spawn, trying to cut rotations. While there's nobody coming in from the actual spawn, Badman's aware about the possibility of Rexy going in here. And yet, after being aware, Rexy can strike. Now everybody's in a position that they can't be traded. Badlove has to take this 1v1 against Blackhawk, and they just walk past each other.
You know, Blackhawk knows there's someone on the flank because Badlove made a little bit of sounds, and MLT, they didn't really play the retake scenario that well, and Godlike were able to capitalize on it. Mistakes are not going to be let slide by just like that, and now this is where the pace needs to be amped up, even from the side of MLT, if they want to get things back in their hands. But I love that this time, MLT isn't just falling back. They're actually fighting for the side control.
Yeah. MLT Esports, they don't want to let go of these retakes anymore. Yes, sure, they might give up the A side sometimes. But we saw what Wenka was able to pull off last time when the A side was under assault. Even this time too. The C side would have been defended well enough if somehow Godlike didn't manage to bait the rotations away from Millicent. And even after that, Rexy is being so disruptive. There were backup policies upon backup policies. When the B side hit failed, after Badler was able to reflank, Rexy was already clearing C.
They've got the A side.
Right here. Yeah, this time too, Militant pushing all the way out of A lobby. And with this amount of map control, they should be aware that Godlike can either be towards B or towards C. The drone thrown towards C kind of distracts them for the moment, but Militant just choose to reinforce Garage instead, a position from which they can defend both the sides if any of them come through.
The stun's out. Huge stun. But unfortunately, it's going to be a little team stun too, so that's why Venka wasn't really able to activate himself. But the flash is going to follow up. Nice little counter flash. We'll give Paradox the opening that he really wanted. Badman spots him out a little bit, but nothing much is going to be done. Badman's position's compromised as well. Caramel, as always, was trying to lurk things off, but this time the lurk's going to be sniffed out, but it's completely fine. Godl, that was a little sacrifice being made from their side as they get the A side control easily in their hands. Knight Rider being taken down on solo, and it's a 4-on-3 situation in which MLT, they have a lot of disadvantage. But they're still really trying to go for it. There is a little chance, yes, if MLT executes things to perfection and they play on utilities nicely, then there's a high chance. But Knight Rider needs to find at least one over here.
No, I mean, even with the util, they don't have much of a chance. Paradox is just on fire. I thought Wenka was the one who was on a killing spree, but it's Paradox who takes up the ace. It's Hika in map number 1 and Paradox now. The aces for Godlike just keep on coming.
OP casters? I don't know.
I don't know if they're saying that to us or for the Hindi desk. I mean, I'm assuming because the Hindi casters are on menu, it's for them. But I mean, we'll take that compliment too.
We'll take it. I mean, he didn't write Hindi casters OP. He wrote casters OP. So we all are casters. So thanks so much, Sayak. We'll take that compliment off of you. But timeout from MLT.
The only one who's OP is Paradox this time, though, right? I mean, it's quite obvious this man has no intention of stopping short.
I mean, we would expect the stage to be a little hot. But man, I'm feeling cold. It's cold. The way these duels are going on, it's like every single player you expect, considering how much intense the game's going on, these players aren't cracking under the pressure.
Absolutely not. You have to feel a little bad for Wenka, though. He was in prime position to stop that A main rush, but he just got utility bombed to oblivion. Stuns, flashes, double flashes, nothing that he could have done in that case. And as soon as he falls, the A side is open for the taking. Godlike lap it up. And Militant having lost their breach and Battle of not having smokes means that they have no utility to retake. Well, this time Wenka trying to make a play that Paradox was seen making earlier.
Oh, this is too risky! Venka had way too many players just waiting for him to walk in his crosser, and as always, Paradox is there to take advantage of things, and he will devour every single enemy that stands against him. And one thing we all know is that it was an eco round for MLM. What? He just shut him down with the classic like that. 2 shots on the head, none missed. Bad love, that was disgusting.
Is this gonna be a stalemate again? Or will Militant go for it?
Oh, they'll go for it, because it's just an eco. They've got nothing to lose.
Yeah, a couple of exit frags would be nice. Maybe steal a gun or two. Hopefully carry it forward into the next round.
One enemy remaining.
Just being choked in that corner. And Knight Rider's able to find one, but I highly doubt it's going to be able to follow. Oh, the last bullet too. Nice and crispy. And Blackhawk from Godlike is able to do pretty good so far. I'm not going to lie, these stand-ins, we had a lot of questions if these stand-ins are going to be able to nicely gel up inside the team, and so far these stand-ins are doing a great job. Again, as I said, even if they are someone who are quite new to the team, it's not going to deny the fact that these guys are mechanically skilled.
I don't think mechanically skilled is a concern at this point at all.
Yeah.
It comes down to how much support you can provide your teammate. I mean, you saw how Wenka was wanting to push up C-Long last time, but he was waiting for a flash, and I guess Badman hesitated to throw the flash in. Wanted to probably conserve it. This time, though, no hesitation, not like at all. The Rolling Thunder rolls through and pushes everybody out. Militant keep the A site. It's gonna be a 5v5 retake again, but at least this time Knight Rider has the lockdown to make things easier.
Spike planted.
Exactly, even Caramel's got the lockdown, so he can try to go for an instant counter lockdown. But is that going to be the case? That's what I want to know. Maybe Caramel's holding on a little bit, but no, Caramel utilized it, so counter lockdown was used. But the problem is that the entire defense that Godlike tried to put up in the post plant's being completely obliterated, but Caramel, he's trying to pull off some big brain moves here. And luckily enough for him, the defuse isn't being stuck. Nanoswarm being utilized, so that means his position's now given away, but Bad Love still unaware. Rio being pushed off the defuse, but he still managed to get it halfway. Ooh, if he was taken down there, things could be way too close for comfort. And Caramel, does he manage to get this? That's what I want to know. But Venka is too cold, and he connects that crucial shot.
Too cold, too close. I am shivering. That flank from Caramel was way too lengthy. My first concern was that they would just stick the defuse all the way through and Caramel wouldn't be able to stop it. But then he doesn't just stop it, he disrupts it with the nanoswarm, gets 2 kills, and forces Wenka to go for probably the most nerve-wracking shot of his life. If Caramel actually pulled off this retake, I don't know, I would be forced to buy a hat and tip it to him.
I would buy the entire store, man.
Yeah.
Only if I had the money.
I'm sure we can afford hats. That being said, can Godlike afford to cut the aggression this time?
But yeah, jokes aside, things are now taking a huge turn. A passive start, a huge change in the pace. You got to bring some sort of pace changes, of course, to play with your enemies' minds. You got to fiddle with them. And MLT, ooh, little garage presence being shown, getting rid of the turret. So now this is where MLT will start a second guess. They probably think that the garage control's taken away, but that's not the case. Godlike, they've got something cooking up, and I'm gonna let them cook.
Yeah, but Militant, the fact that Rio falls away from that position kind of tells you that they're aware that Godlike isn't present towards garage. Still, Militant go back to their defaults, reinforcing C. Now finally the execute from Godlike comes through, and Rexy, Paradox are both relentless. Rio tries to throw in the counter Hunter's Fury, and he finally does connect, but it's too late. The site's already conquered.
Enemy remaining.
Oh, the plant couldn't be stopped, and that's a little problematic. And now you've only got Venka on the operator. Is he gonna go for the save? That's what I don't know. Oh, that's a disgusting shot. Connects to burst on ahead. Hika is gonna be saying bye-bye, good night to the game. And Venka with this Vandal really is a man. It really is a true hunter. He's looking for the victims, and so far it's tough to find those victims. And Venka would realize the fact that, alright, maybe it's time to back out. Maybe the take is going to be next to impossible. And seems like he is aware of the flank, but Caramel is way too sneaky.
Yeah, Caramel started going towards the A side the moment the spike was planted.
Yeah.
He knew that Venka will have to go for a save, and he's like, yeah, no man, I'm not going to let you carry the op forward. Oh my god, look. I like that Hacker's a good sport when people do that to him. Again though, I like the fact that Militant had the proper read. The fact that they were unfazed by the garage push from Godlike tells you that Militant can read whatever they are cooking. Of course, when Godlike decide to send in with the full execute on C, Militant can't hold on, and that is a red flag, but I guess it's up to Militant to make some proactive plays now, which they try to make towards mid, and of course Caramel will punish that. Venka down in the grave already.
It seems like once again they're going to go for a seaside take here, and Paradox was just waiting for someone to show themselves up and show their identities, and so far Paradox has gathered a lot of information, and as always Paradox finds the openings. How does he do this? Over and over again, the similar pattern isn't being read by MLT. And once again, they get the seaside control in their hands, and Rio, the overextender is going to be shut down, but it's fine. He's got way too many thorns on his way.
Yeah, Godlike are using the seaside like their bread and butter. They're attacking it so many times with quite some success. I mean, yes, it was an eco round for Militant, so one stands to reason that they won't be able to defend it as well. But keep in mind, this was a 3-stack towards the seaside. Weapons or no weapons, the sheer amount of bodies present should have been able to at least halt Godlike Esports in their tracks momentarily, if not completely shut the execute down.
Scanning ahead.
Godlike still have got the lockdown on the play, and they're almost on the match point here, ladies and gentlemen, but this time MLT, Venka's operator is going to strike in. They're not going to let the seaside control just be taken away like that, and this time, the entry is denied. And Paradox is sent back home. On the B, the alarm bar gets triggered, but Caramel, with a nice shot, will be shutting down Rio's hopes and dreams, at least for now. MLT, they've got still 4 players up and alive. This round, MLT is really fighting with tooth and nail, but the B-side control's taken away, and they've also utilized the lockdown. So Godlike, they're quite desperate for a plan, and they're trying to replicate exact strategy what Metal did, but no. Instead, they're going to go for the plan on the B. They were just trying to overextend and trying to get the link control as well, but the link control's denied because MLT this time is playing with a nice little team play.
Last player standing.
I would be so salty if Blackhawk was actually able to pull both those kills off.
Yeah.
Militant hang on. Another round in the bag, and hey, they're letting Knight Rider go for the defuse. Now he's just 1 point away from his lockdown.
And Godlike, they just need one more round in their hands to pretty much just secure the second map. That means there's a high chance we'll be going on forward to the third map. Or else, if MLT keep on continuing with this synergy, there's a high chance we might just see an overtime.
I would love
But that
to
was a
see
great
an
round.
overtime.
Godl Alok OP. Indeed, he's OP.
Paradox is OP, dude. Look at the amount of frags he's got. 25. An ace in the bag already. And this time he's leading the charge. Knight Rider very brave to go for that orb pickup.
Placing swarm
He does
grenade.
take a little bit of damage in the process, but I guess the availability of the lockdown is now worth it.
Look at the amount of economy the players of Godl have stacked up onto themselves. They've got so much eco, they can play for days.
Yeah. I mean, money's not a concern for them at all. They just
Yeah.
want to finish this game, get to Pearl, execute comes through. Recon doesn't reveal anyone, but as always, Militant are more than comfortable giving away this ace site and playing for retake. Especially
Nice.
now that the lockdown can't be
Planted.
countered by another one.
Oh, but he's got the aftershock that he wants to utilize.
Not enough. Oh, wait, it actually does
Yeah.
get them. Nice.
They do get it. So the aftershock's going to be countering that one, so that's a huge thing. So that means the lockdown's not going to be in play anymore. The lockdown's pretty much invested and wasted. And Godlike, ooh, the shock dart was quite nice. That's going to force him off of his position, at least for now. The comfort zone's given away. Sacrifice, but it's not going to matter. MLT, they flow inside the site like an unstoppable force. And Venka was way too busy to pull out the op. And MLT, how did they make this flawless take possible? What a retake.
Yeah, that was so chaotic towards the end. It all comes down to the wire. Militant Esports throwing bodies at their opponents, making this one work. I'm sure there must have been something else also along with the aftershock, because the aftershock alone is not enough to break the lockdown anymore. It's got 200 HP now, remember? So there must have been something else too.
Last player standing.
I guess we won't
MLT.
find out in the replay.
Man, that was a clean sweep, huh?
Placing
I really would want to just like slow down and see how the replay or how the retake was done there. Well, you know something I want to analyze there, because
out of my way.
man, they just started flowing up with a lot of kills, and Godlike weren't able to find any reply. I mean, we talked about how Paradox is able to always come up with those openings, but I love the fact that Paradox is slowly and steadily being deactivated, and also the man in the front phases away at the last second. And that also give him a huge info. Rio, he doesn't realize he's barely alive on the skin of his teeth.
Re-clearing, eh? That's good, that's good. Only Paradox is the one who's left towards A main. The rest of them trying to make a contact bait towards B. The alarm bot will detect it, but I guess the fact that there's a rolling thunder committed towards A long, A link is obvious enough. But again, Paradox still lurking around. Knight Rider more than happy to intercept him, but look how deep you have Grexy now. He still dies, and no plants. Militant Esports are punishing Godlike in the most hilarious ways possible.
No charges left.
Oh no, Blackhawk's all alone.
Oh my god. What? We're going OT, Crips.
Yeah. I mean,
We're going overtime.
I like what Godlike tried to do over here. They tried to play super aggressively by pushing in towards A-Link. And I brought this up in the pre-game analyst segment where I mentioned every time you push in towards A-Link or C-Link, whenever there's a B plant, Militant do get uncomfortable. But it seems like Militant were more than prepared for this. They were okay with Godlike committing super deep, and Militant were able to stop them in their tracks.
Considering Godlike almost got this map so close, so freaking close. All they needed was one more round.
Yeah.
But still, MLT did not crack under the pressure, and this is what I exactly said. The environment's getting cold. The players, they're not getting faced by anything that's standing in front of them. It's not going to matter. They're unfazed, and they're standing tall.
Let's see what Militant bring to the table now. Bring back the good old reliable, the push. Lots of shock darts to break the nanoswarms in the way, but they'll be activated before they land. This stops Militant Esports momentarily before they hustle through it unbothered. And look at how they play their post-plants this time. The spike goes down. Most of the attackers still towards the bottom of mid, with the exception of Venka. He's the one running point. Spotted.
Yeah. Venka's job over here is to try and take as many players as he can with him, but that's not going to be the case. The recon dart's just way too perfect. Caramel will get caught over here because the crosshair placement wasn't quite exactly on the point. Aftershocks out too, so that means now he cannot really go for the defuse just yet. Godlike, they had the operator in play, but MLT, they're trying to choke him in the sight.
Wow.
But again, they're just trying to break free, and Paradox helps his teammates break free with the operator. It's a high risk, high reward type of situation inside OT to go for an op, and Paradox took the odds.
Yeah, he didn't just take the odds, he took the whole bloody round in his hands and used that massive grip to dismantle his opponents. And you see how disciplined, in such a disciplined fashion were Militant playing this post plant. They were not over-peaking, not over-committing, using their utility to push Godlike back. Shock darts, aftershocks, nanoswarms, everything, you name it. Militant threw it. Except the kitchen sink, they threw everything else. But Paradox, man, this guy turned into a bodyguard for the diffuser.
Oh, no! Once again! This time, from the side of Venka, though. The operator's really just making a huge difference inside this overtime rounds. Even from MLT, and this time. But Godlike, they haven't really invested on an op, especially when they're on the attacking side. So that means Godlike really want to bring up the heat, at least on one side, quickly. They want to execute it without a lot of time left over in their hands, or in their opponent's hands.
Yeah.
And this is where Caramel was unfortunately taken out, so they're not going to have those post-plant utilities anymore.
Timing, so unfortunate for Rexy. And Knight Rider is always a demon in this position. Towards a shot, he kills every single lurker. But do they know that he was lurking? Or do they believe that the rest of Godlike are still towards A? At least now they'll find out, but it's a bit too late. Rotations are already inbound, and Militants have all the weaponry needed to stop this assault in its tracks, but Paradox is unfazed. Venka demolishing everybody. The blade's not enough. Boiled down to a 1v1. Hika and Knight Rider locked in a battle of wits. And they're all trying to go around each other. Hika expects him to be towards CT, but Knight Rider might just thread the needle. Fake plant, baits Knight Rider out, and we're going to yet another OT.
Even the Knight Rider, he had the HP deficit. It's not going to matter. All he needs to do is just click on the head. And that's what he exactly does. And now the sides are going to be switched once again. We're going to see MLT back on that attacking side, back on that aggressive page. But which side are they going to decide to execute? That's my question. Last time on attack, they got completely shut down when they decided to plan on the B site. But I personally think so. They should try and go for a proper A execute, which should be clean enough with the utilities.
Placing swarm grenade. Swarm grenade out.
Well, nice shock darts thrown in by Rexy. Anyone who was droning over there would have been caught. This should, on paper, have damaged Rio, but it's just a bit off the angle. Militant gearing up outside of C. And it seems like it's going to be a fast one. No presence from Godlike on this side except the KJ util. That doesn't really stop Militant in its tracks. And it seems like they should be able to at least get the spike plan down. So how do Godlike play this retake?
Definitely a huge question that even I'm wondering. Venka was just walking atop those nanoswarms, and now he's just overextending. That was not needed, Venka. You could have just tried to play in the back and try to play for the post plants and help your teammates out. No flash. That was a little team flash from their side, but as long as things are working out in their favor, that's all that's going to matter. Every single player now is posted up on the post plant on the side of Militant, and they're just spamming through the smokes, and Badla finds one. Of course, the favor is not for anyone over here. The odds are stacked against the players of Militant for now, because they don't have the man number. And eventually, the last man gets shut down as well. Godlike, oh man, they're really turning up the heat when they need to.
Yeah, and it's just a brawl, man. Everyone's exchanging frags, trading back and forth. A hailstorm of bullets flying down this narrow, sea-long, treacherous corridor. And also, you gotta appreciate Rexy for sticking that plant all the way to half.
Thank you.
It takes cojones of steel to stay in that position, not moving an inch when there's bullets whizzing past you.
31 kills on Paradox.
Placing swarm grenade.
Shadows traveling.
Okay. Same old by either team. It seems like Seaside is just an open invitation in this overtime for either team. Bad Love though playing around this smoke cheekily. Oh man, he's going for the beautiful Omen moves. Nope, it will be intercepted by Blackhawk eventually, but now it's down to a 2v2. Oh, this is as close as it gets. Spike dropped in a recoverable position, and Rexy makes the maneuver to make it work, but Venka missed the opportunity. He does get another shot, another opportunity. Will he capture it or let it slip? Will he be as fast as Eminem's worst is? Yes, he is! He is not just gold, he is crucial for his team's victory! Yet another overtime. This game is not ending tonight.
Oh my god, MLT, they're really fighting over here. They just want to close the series out in 2 maps. They don't want to let it get away. They don't want to let the 3rd map roll in. They just want to seal the deal on the map of Haven. And oh boy, both these teams, man. As I said, I mean, look at Paradox. This man's sitting on 31 kills. Yeah, of course, the over-aggression's being seen from both the sides, but it's completely fine when you're able to deliver for your team. But Venka, oh, some flicks that this man is showing. Definitely quite insane, and again, just steps up for his team. I thought as soon as he missed that operator shot, I thought things are going to be a little problematic. This might just cost him the round, but no, that was not the case.
And he's just a stand-in. Imagine if there was Astro and Zay present in this game. Would we get to see a 30 bomb like this from those 2 imports? I guess that's a question we can't answer now, but Paradox definitely worth his weight in gold. And finally, both the teams decide to step away from the C side and leave it alone. Contact play from MLT towards the B side. Not anymore. I mean, I can't call it contact when they're using util like this. But still, they're not committing just yet. They want to push Godlike away. They want to lure them into another site where there's relatively less defense. At least all the KJ utils placed towards the C side now, so there's nothing on B. The only way Godlike can stop it is by manually checking these angles.
A presence is not really being shown that much from the side of MLT. They're trying to just shift walk all the way towards the mounts. And it seems like that's what they're going to try to pull off. And so far, it does seem like it's working. Rexy is the only man left alive here, but he finds one through the spam. And Badman's going to be saying bye-bye to this round. Not a good news, 100% for the side of MLT, but they can try and recover things here. And yeah, all by himself, just pushing up. Wenka is always on those proactive and those offs marks, and he's able to catch that one player. Rexy with only 8 HP in the hand. He's got the recon dart to help his teammates up with the information, and the recon dart's gonna land perfectly. They now know there's 2 players on the site behind the default box, and Godel, they make the push happen, and Caramel's up leading the charge. Hika is in the back, and now make it down to a 1-on-2 situation in which Godel, they secure yet another round.
Really good recon dart over there by Rexy. As soon as they got the confirmation that there's 2 players behind the default box, it eliminates any scope of a crossfire between the Graffiti and the Hell player. Also eliminates any scope of anyone being towards long. Really reduces the number of angles that Godlike need to check, which makes things easier, you know. They don't have to worry about being shot in the back. They can just send it fully inside, and then that leaves Knight Rider all by himself in an awkward spot with not the right weaponry for the right amount of distance. Godlike on the verge of pushing us to Pearl. Militant really want to end this game in yet another overtime.
Hika. It's okay, he's a little hurt, but it's completely fine. And as always, Paradox, I mean, things were working out for him before, but this time, whenever he's trying to create some space for his team, he's getting cut off instantly. His lifeline's getting chopped off. And he's finding himself in a nice haircut situation scenarios. But Godlike over here, they're able to at least even things out for now. They're able to find the equalizer.
Yeah.
But they haven't got any sort of side control just yet.
At least Caramel's aggro positioning towards Garage helped them get a couple more kills than they were supposed to. But now that they've fallen back, Militant Esports can read this like a book. They're over-rotating towards the A side, and luckily for them, that's where the spike is headed as well. The hero of this round has to be Caramel once again. It's going to be a Killjoy versus Killjoy battle towards Garage, but Knight Rider is sharper. He's more aware. And now that Caramel's been spotted, they know he's a faker, so it's up to Rio to stop this plan somehow. He's got the shock darts to stop it, and they're doing it in the open. He can just bring him down! When is this game gonna end?
That magazine's gonna be enough. Yeah, all the time. Godlike, it's like they get the first OT round in the hand, and then instantly the second defending side round is in the hands of MLT. They've really improved drastically when it comes to the defending side, but Godlike too, they're not falling short on the attack. And for now, Paradox is being deactivated. He's stuck on those 31 kills. He hasn't been able to follow up since the past 3 rounds. But if Paradox wakes up, then there's a chance he might just put a full stop.
A little bit of silence. The calm before the storm. That's what signals the incoming hurricane, and now that contact's made towards Garage. Do Godlike respond in time? They've only placed Paradox over here so far, so it's not like Godlike are falling for this MLT fake. At least the read is nice. And Godlike don't over-rotate, they don't overreact, they don't even lose any players, which basically forces MLT to use all this util and a minute, and they still have nothing to show for it.
Oh no, I'm scared for MLT here. They're walking inside a KJ trap that's been set up. They've got the turret and the nano swarms once again. But this time they've got Hika on the aggressive page. And I'm pretty sure Hika's going to try to play off of his utilities 100%. He will also get scanned by the recon dart, but is that going to be a problem? That's what my question is. Caramel this time as well is playing on the proactive approach. And he is going to find the trades. But MLT too, they answer back in the style. And they also get the site control. The plant will go down 30 seconds in the hands. Time's not going to be an issue, at least for now. And MLT, as always, they're able to shut down Paradox. He's not able to activate himself inside the overtime scenario.
It seems like he's run out of fuel, run out of fire. And the moment the smoke fades, so will Blackhawk's life. Rexy now left to do the impossible. The weight of the world upon his shoulders. At least he's offered the 1v1, but he's got too many things to deal with, and Renka with the triple finally shows us what he's made of.
Oh, first time MLT, they get a round in the hand on the attacking side. That's huge.
That is huge. I mean, the defense has been spot on.
Yeah, and I was concerned because they were walking inside a KJ setup, right? I thought they were also be having 2 players on the aggressive note because this time I saw that even the KJ was playing aggressive and even the Breach was playing really aggressive. So Caramel and Hika, these 2 guys try to play off of each other's utilities, but unfortunately, MLT's aim was just too strong.
Can they finish it off now, though? Wenka with the op yet again, peering down B main. Doesn't see anyone. And even Godlike are playing this quite passively. Drone towards A main, that's fine. It doesn't really showcase too much presence. Militant have positioned 3 players towards A, but the moment Badlov starts seeing a little bit of presence, he will need to fall back. Unless he's brave enough to defend it by playing in the smoke. Yeah, that's a bit too much of a gamble. He gets sprayed down. Death by 1,000 paper cuts.
4 players alive on their side. MLT, they're being shut down now. And, oh, okay, this might just be flawless round 2-on-5 scenario. This seems next to impossible. Godlike, they're just calculating this so perfectly. And it seems like Godlike just read MLT like a book inside their defensive side. MLT weren't even able to get 1 single body to their name.
And we thought that because MLT won the previous round, their danger territory is over. They're out of the treacherous waters, but nope, they just fall right back into the deep end. And you can see even the audience in the arena is getting a bit agitated.
This is just way too close for comfort. I'm pretty sure every single person that's sitting inside the arena, and also the viewers that are watching us live on YouTube, our lovely and cute audience, even they will be having red faces.
Oh no! Stoic Paradox continues to hold the angle, but now Blackhawk greets Wenka, and he gets another one for free. Nice ability to reposition from the vantage point on top. He should be able to get at least 1 more kill before he's finally discovered. And this could finally be the saving grace that Godlike required. Uh-oh.
Aldrone to spot out the mid presence. Knight Rider's positions compromised. But Godlike, I mean, the way they retained back the B control, they asserted dominance back against dominance. Aggression is cutting off aggression, at least for now. Godlike, they're really fighting for the side control. They're not going to let MLT just flow in like that. And Rexy, what a shot to cut it off. Just sniffs the man lurking around. But MLT, as long as they get the side control in the hand, that's all that's going to matter, because the fallen man conveyed the call that the site's clear. But it's still a 2-on-4 situation in which Godlike, they have a clear advantage.
Player standing.
No, it was necessary for Knight Rider to go ahead and try to at least get a pick or two. That would at least alleviate the pressure to some extent. But now Badlove has to do everything all on his own. He even gets sacked up by the Hunter's Fury. He's got players coming in from everywhere. No escape.
Is this match gonna end?
Not your day, is it?
Is it gonna end today? Is the right question.
Maybe it's gonna be one of those battles that's gonna last for months. And we're gonna be over here casting for months, and the viewers are gonna be here supporting us. Crips.
Hopefully at least for the first few weeks, if not the entirety of the duration. Oh, Godlike Esports, they are so close to victory. They can smell it. It's practically within touching distance. Even Caramel has breached the 30 frag mark. I mean, Paradox dropped the 30 bomb a couple of rounds ago, but since then, he's not been able to create the same amount of impact that he usually does. MLT are doing a good job of keeping him in check. Now even Caramel has stepped up to the fray.
Take flight.
Here we go. Paradox back in action. The sleeping tiger's now awoken. Paradox was able to at least gather a couple of frags in the previous round, and this time, will he be able to do so? That's what I want to know. He's not going to be able to follow it up, but the crossfire setup from the side of MLT is going to help him out do something. Godlike, on the other hand, though, they're going to get the side control back in their hands, but player... This is where the players are really now starting to get into red alert, and they're quite alerted, that's for sure. Godlike, they're trying to make their presence known in the site, but MLT, they're always just suppressing fire with water.
Yeah, and they push in before the spike even gets planted. What on earth is a retake? Why go for that if you can just stop the spike from being planted in the first place? And Wenka does exactly that. Blackhawk managed to get towards Hell with a nice little TP, but now he's gonna have a lot of problem trying to plant. You can see how Paranoid is being pushed through the heavens. But MLT regroup together. They're gonna play it as a unit, hoping that they can trade out Blackhawk. This AWP in the hands of Venka does create a little bit of a red flag, and they're still not pushing it. They're being very, very cautious, and he shows his presence. MLT finally sealed the
OT.
deal.
Crips, we're here for a while, man.
Yeah.
This game is so intense, though. I'm not gonna lie. It's so fun to watch. Every single round, I'm just standing up from my chair and always just having huge question marks on my faces. Paradox, as always, he's walking inside the site like a lone wolf, trying to create some space for his team. But as I said, inside the OT, his impact hasn't been felt that much compared to the previous rounds.
I mean, at this point, even Caramel and Blackhawk are stepping up, so they are making do for whatever firepower is lacking on Paradox's end. But hey, that's not the problem. The fact that Rio was completely unfazed by that utility that Godlike threw, it's a red flag. None of the flashes connected, fault lines, Paranoia's dodged, and Rio steps up massively. A triple kill for him sets his team up for success. In an overtime situation like this, Godlike can't afford to have utility being missed. Okay. A bit over-eager for Caramel, and Badlove is accounted, he's accounted for Caramel. But here we go, Wenka steps up again, and they're getting kills every single way. There's a kill on short, long, mid, and the bottom of B. Like, Godlike Esports had no trades in this round at all. All 4 people died in different parts of the map with no trading potential, and these are the kind of rounds that MLT prayed for.
Spike planted.
Last man up, and Godlike, they once again get the attack, the defending side stolen from their hand. Last man alive, Blackhawk. Not really expecting a lot from his side. I mean, 1v5 and ace clutch seems pretty next to impossible, but it's been done in the past a couple of times. Definitely isn't impossible though.
You can almost feel bad for Blackhawk. It's a near impossible situation. He can feel the powerlessness. His hands tied behind his back, shackled down by the weight of the world. Tricky's behaving like a Beyblade back there.
Yeah, he's having fun on those gaming chairs, man. I do that sometime as well.
Nice.
And I find it quite entertaining, don't you? I mean, don't you like just spin around on your chair?
Nah, I get dizzy.
Really?
Yeah.
What's wrong with getting dizzy?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I like to get my kicks from elsewhere. Anyway, look at this setup from Godlike. It's quite different from the previous rounds, isn't it? Up until now, they were sticking together and brute forcing their way in, but this is more of a default setup. Paradox gets destroyed by Venka. Can this be the round that Militant have been waiting for? Godlike once again peering down the B site, and you can see how Cannibal desperately wants to get inside and try to somehow get a gap. Find that timing in the look. But MLT have just fallen back. They've acquired the man advantage. They have no obligation to continue pushing further.
MLT's on a match point. All they need is one more round to be secured in their hands. Paradox taken away. The man who was trying to create some control and some space inside the site is not with Godlike anymore. That means now Godlike will need to rely on their pseudo-utilities and their initiators to try and create some space for them. And one thing in mind is that Hika definitely has every single piece of utility available, but Rio is just patiently waiting for them to walk in his crosshair, and it seems like MLT, they're way too close for the victory, but Rexy stands tall in the path.
What?
He's like a huge thorn, but Godel, as the time passes by, they're closing their fists together, and it seems like they will also get the site control in the hand, and Caramel steps up huge. When it seems like the lifeline's fading away, Caramel steps up big time for his team. And the last man's taken way too low. Caramel! What a clutch!
Holy mother of God! A 2 versus 4 pulled off by Godlike. And Caramel is a legend. This smoke by Rio is, this smoke by Badlove is a massive red flag, right? Every time there's a smoke placed over there, Rio is able to get multiple frags, just like I predicted. But what I did not see coming in 100 years was that Caramel would step up, and now he's overtaken everybody else. Leading the frag board by example. A powerful clutch that will echo in these halls for the time to come. And the battle rage is on. This war is nowhere close to its finish line. MLT could feel it, right? They got that early frag on Paradox. They had all the advantage they needed. A 2v4 established. And then Caramel pulls a rapid out of the hat. A magic trick completed that will bedazzle the audience and shock his opponents to their core.
That was the signature Vandal in its prime. And the man didn't miss any shots. He was just connecting those heads. And every single player just started melting in front of him. And Godlike, yet again, take us to another OT.
It just doesn't end now, does it? Paradox taking the onus upon his shoulders once again. Somewhat of an off angle. Knight Rider misses. He aggresses further. And he shuts them down. Spike dropped. And this finally might be the round that Godlike had been waiting for. But Militant traded back. They still haven't retrieved the spike though. They gotta dig it out of the sewers. And backup is right for Godlike over here. Paradox ain't alone anymore. They need some flashes to clear this round. To clear this area. And Badman has only one left. He needs to make it count.
So much back and forth action over here. And Paradox this time, finally, the beast that was sleeping has awoken. But is that going to give them the advantage? That's what we're here to find out. It did for a while, but it's stolen away once again by MLT. And Venka wants to take this fight to their faces and flicks on the target and puts him to sleep.
Switching sides.
I am gonna have a heart attack the way this game is going.
Me too, bro. My heart's pumping way too. You know what?
My anxiety is at an all-time high.
Bro, I'm not even gonna lie. This is just way too close. It's that I'm feeling for the players. I can literally feel. It's like every time they're just getting so close to the win, but then it's being stolen away by some miraculous plays.
Yeah, heroics. to their fullest extent. This is the definition of a capital H hero. Caramel probably has a cape on his back at this one. And he's sitting on 37, man. We've seen some 30 bombs in the South Asia League. This man's close to 40. Who knows, the way this game is going, the way it's not just ending, he might just get it before it ends. This time it's Godlike knocking on the doors of B side yet again, but we've seen them do this before. What we haven't seen is Caramel going towards A as a lurk. Usually he lurks towards garage and B. But this time the roles reversed and he steps up. Badman does trade him out, but it's a little too late. The B side is open for the taking and Militant will let this one go. Godlike grab this land. They go for the spike plant, counter utility thrown, but Bad Love tries to make some sneaky smoke plays. Will get punished.
No!
Standing.
The shenanigans are being pulled off. Sometimes they're being executed perfectly too, but they're instantly being punished as well. The punishment, as long as it's there, it's gonna favor Godlike. MLT, they were able to sneak and crawl their way in. Sometimes there were some glorious moments, but instantly being punished as well. And now Venka too cold. It's gonna be the only glimmer of hope alive for MLT to seal the deal. But he's caught with his hands busy. A knife on the hit, and we'll get a bullet to his head.
We are at round number... you know what? I've lost count. It just refuses to end. Lovely attempt by Godlike over there. It was very brave of them to go towards the B side because historically they haven't been strong on this side. Whenever they've tried to attack the B side, Militant have always been able to either push them back or retake successfully. But Godlike, I mean, after running out of options on C and A, they have to exercise B and they make it work. Caramel in a one and done position. He needs the backup of Blackhawk, and even though he's stunned, the pushback from Paranoia is good enough. Venka does overextend and he gets punished. But he sold the fake convincingly well. It forces 3 of Godlike members to position themselves on C, leaving A slightly vulnerable. And if the timing is utilized, then maybe Militant can capture it and plant.
Sound cues were given away, and that's why
No.
Paradox and his teammates is ready. And Paradox towards the short, and Godale, they're just gonna let him funnel inside the site. It's an absolute meat grinder on the A site. And Godlike, yet another round on the board for them. This is the most epic battle so far this entire South Asian stage has seen.
And it's just the first week, ladies and gentlemen. If this is the quality of matches we have in store for you at the South Asia League, then you better hit that subscribe button because this is gonna be a banger. Round number 40. And Caramel is close to 40 frags. So is Paradox. A monstrous performance by these two legends. Caramel at one point was doubted by every single Godlike fan, but now he's proving what he's made of. Godlike come pouring into the side. On the edge of the smoke, they wait. Footsteps heard. They know there's one towards logs, but they don't know who else is behind this smoke, so Paradox can't peek out yet.
A legendary battle not yet claimed by anyone. 2 teams fighting for the supremacy. And MLT, even they're fighting back. The firepower is equally good for both the sides, but this time MLT Knight Rider's gonna whiff a little shots. The spray is not connecting, that's why it's gonna cost him his life. Venka with the operator trying to create some difference, but it's also gonna catch him. The HP deficit equal on both the sides, but Venka, he steps up huge for his team. And Godlike Caramel, once again, the beast is alive all by himself, left to clutch things out. He's also got a lockdown available in the hands. Will he be using it? That's my question. And no is going to be the answer. Rio will put the final nail in the coffin. And MLT Esports, they take us to another OT.
Given Caramel's track record in clutch situations, I really thought he had this one in the bag. With 30-something HP on him, I thought he would have been a dead man the moment he faced Venka. But not only does he kill him, but he also almost pre-fires the last man to perfection. If Rio wasn't having full HP, then this would have been a clutch for Caramel. Oh, and he steps up. A challenge for the ages. 20 on either side. And at this point, it's a battle of endurance.
41 kills!
Sheesh.
We've seen those amount of kills tally it up from 2 matches, and this man has got 41 kills inside one single game, because this OT is just way too legendary.
Neither team refusing to budge, not give up an inch. And in rounds like these, it comes down to the wire, you know. You lose an inch, the opponent will take a mile off of you. Knight Rider this time trying to pull off a caramel, trying to pull off a lurk towards B side. We've seen him here in this position before, but it was probably in regulation. I don't think he's attempted this in overtime. I mean, I might be wrong over here, because you can't blame me for remembering 40 rounds, but here we have Godlike once again with the right read. Rexy's util kinda indicates to them that militants are being read, but this util being thrown at Godlike pushes them away. And Paradox in a cheeky position once more. Rexy and Hika step up. The bodies hit the floor, and when the dust settles, it's just Batman left standing. Militant Esports fighting tooth for nail.
1 enemy remaining.
Oh, Hika
The aftershock. Oh, the aftershock was perfect. But now Hika's gonna utilize. Oh, that's a little whiff. Oh, from the side of Hika. That's gonna cost him his life and also the round. Knight Rider, how? How do you make that happen? Oh, the whiff is gonna cost him the entire round and maybe the series as well.
Knight Rider should have been a dead man, dude. He had no business winning this.
30 seconds left.
And the nerves act up for Godlike at the worst possible moment. A little tremble, a little gap is all that's required for Knight Rider to rip this round wide open. Standing on the edge of victory, they can feel it in their arms once again. And this time, with the T-side round secured, Militant Esports just need to hold on. Play to their strengths. Militant not moving an inch, they're playing super passively. They do not want to give away any advantage to Godlike at the start. With both the teams in a crucial situation like this going for ecos, it's gonna come down to the last few seconds of the round. Will become chaotic for Godlike if they wait this much.
A huge change in the pace this time. Things are taken cautiously, steps are taken cautiously. And they're approaching the garage control, but Battlelove's gonna let him funnel inside the garage. Stun's being utilized perfectly, the timing's there, but Rexy isn't, and that's a problem. Godlike, not a start of course they want to have in this one, but Venka with the operator might just be the difference maker, and so far he is proven to be the difference maker. MLT, all they need is one more round in the hand, and it seems like they're getting way too close for success. And this time, MLT, high chance they might just close it out. Unless if Paradox is able to do some heroics.
They can go for the plant. This button will not be stopped. Knight Rider falling is what sets up Godlike for success, but now Hika has to pull off the impossible. He let it slip previously, and he has to show what he's made of. Militant Esports seal the deal. It's finally over, ladies and gentlemen. After 41 grueling and uncomfortable rounds, Militant Esports clutch it out. This match will go down in South Asian history as one of the longest and the most tedious battles to ever have taken place.
As I said, the most legendary battle South Asia has ever seen so far. And as you said, it's gonna go down in the history, that's for sure. A long series where even Godlike gave it all they had, and MLT too. They were sweating to just get these rounds in their hands as well. Valiant effort from both the sides, but this time, MLT were just an inch ahead.
Firm handshakes by these teams. I mean, regardless of the outcome, I tip my hat down to Godlike, man. The fact that you can push Militant out of their comfort zone to such a huge extent when 2 of your main players are missing, that is indeed very respectable. And you have to give credit to Paradox and Caramel, man. Both of them played out of their minds in this game.
Where Paradox, it seemed like he was getting shut down, where his heroics weren't really working that well. We saw his teammates stepping things up. Caramel was there like a hero, saving the day for his team. But ladies and gentlemen, there's way too much to talk about, and we'll talk about that after this short break.
Hit for my wins, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
The all-new i20, born magnetic.
Making dreams come true and memories happier.
On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this the 7 C's. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage as they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this the 7 C's. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage as they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this the 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up, way up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage and they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this the 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage and they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this the 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage and say sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, just the 7 C's. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. We're known for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage and say sing along. I might book a